understand that the Democrats right now are a bunch of idiot buffoons. They have the audacity to blame the queers for being too left-wing and insist on shifting their politics right. Now, I ain't saying there's all that. Cause that Mamdani guy, he's pretty slick. And AOC even endorsed his ass. I know what a wise guy like you can do. Get out there and protest them fascist dingrods. No kings, no problem, am I right? And since you're the musical type, spread the message through your art. Just tell him Vinny sent you.
New York City Democratic mayoral candidate and Muslim Zohran Mamdani has gone over 24 hours since last condemning Hamas, therefore implicating him as a terrorist against Jews. In other news, studies show ethno-states are in and human rights are out. In the interest of providing a fair and balanced debate on this subject, Republican Congressman Fred Dingleberry will be joining us tonight facing off against a homeless man's dog we stole from outside the studio. This has been Modern Journalism.
Turn that shit off. You know I hate the tools over at the Legacy Media. So, you join DSA or what? This country needs it, honestly. The Democrats can't keep polishing the same turd every election. We need socialist solutions to all the fucked up shit going right now. Don't take me for a dumbass, though. I'm not talking third party. It sucks, but we gotta change the Dems into something less shit.
I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice, and that when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress.
Welcome to America's best radio show, Patriot FM. The only show on air that gives you the truth. And none of that woke, gay, empathy you all despise, because subtlety is for cowards.
OMG, I am so homosexual.
You're listening to the most degenerate music by Jace, Doug, whatever. Bet this idiot can't even define what a woman is. I should call her.
We made history. In the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. My friends, we have done it. I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City. as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised, palms calloused, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change, a mandate for a new kind of politics, a mandate for a city we can afford, and a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that. Thank you to those so often forgotten who made this movement their own. Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. This campaign is about people like Wesley, people like the woman I met on the BX 33 years ago, people like the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall. My brother, we are in City Hall now.
where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion, you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack. That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Riverboat Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. And that's what it's about. It's all about passion. Riverboat Jack. content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How we all doing today? Hello, Polaire. Hello, Samantha Maydib. Hello, Story the Bard. Hello, Uncle Gumbald. Hello, Sweet Blasphemy. Hello, Hoi Polloi. Hello, Win B. Hello, Hit the Mat. Hello, Salty Turtle Cupcake. Hello, how we doing, folks? Hello, Super Jet Guy. Hello, Queenie. Hello, Becoming Tanya. Hello, Banana Brains. Hello, I almost said Petrochromia. Petracoromia. Not Coromia. I'll get it this time. Petricoroma. Nailed it. Hello, Kermit Thorson. Hello, a raccoon named Spanky. Hello, Queer Devil 666. Hello, the jazziest dog you know. Hello, Dragonfly. Hello, Sparrow in the Snow. Hello. It's pronounced. I try my best. More Gaelic diphthongs. I can't say Gaelic diphthongs. I am the diphthong. Wait, it's Petricoroma's birthday? Is this true? Wait, there are two different streams? Yeah, there's a horizontal stream and a vertical stream. Depending on if you're watching like you would like a TikTok, there's like a live stream in that format for people who prefer to watch that way. I've been testing it out anyway for like the last few streams, and if it doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. We'll go back to how we've been doing it in the past. Hello, Mountain Eucalyptus. Hello, Nash O'Hash. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Black Rose PCS. Hello, Paradox Bingo. Hello, Sheepish Trex. Hello, Nova Neptune. Hello, DJ Disc Machine. Hello, Betty Davis Eyes. Hello. How we doing, folks? Hello, Rhyme Jack. Hello, Terran Ambassador. Hello, Paladin Lost. Hello, Hellbound Hillbilly. Thank you very much for the raid, even before I'd fully gone live. Hello, everybody. Hello, Banana Brains. Hello, Nocturnal. Hello, Comrade Girl. Hello, Liz Galahad. Hello, Sylvie DB. Hello, Where is Waldo? Hello, Chillface. Hello, Sheepish T-Rex. I know I'm joshing ya. Hello, Avril Demars. I did it. I said a name right. Hello, Sage. Hello, Ruthie. Hello, Cute Dark Arts. Hello, Amber Brains. Hello, everybody. 45-degree angle stream when? Never. Maybe. I'll look into it. Oof. Well, Mitsu Tiger Jones, that's kind of what I'm testing out. I'm trying to see if it is worth doing the vertical stream, because I know it taxes the mod team to do an additional stream. And I have for this stream turned on 5-minute subscriber mode for the vertical stream as well. So hopefully we get a few less chuckle nuts just being virulently transphobic in vertical chat. You know? Make it, 1/100th of the hell it used to be. Hello, Firecrafted. Live from the Time Cube. So glad you're being cheerful before we get into the Dems. Yeah. We're going to be talking about a few different topics tonight before we get to the Dems. Let's see. Also, which chat is which? My problem is I popped out both of the chats, and now I'm unsure which one is which. Let me just, there we go. I thought so. Cool. Everything back into its correct place. All right, folks. I got a decent hourly job collecting petitions for a charter amendment, only temp though. Hopefully I can do something more fulfilling. That's wonderful though. It's vital work. Hello, Mordant Inky Cap. Hello. Hello, Marocat. Hello, Stygian Skunk. Oh yeah, earlier today I debated the devil. And I think I won. I think I can characterize it that I won that. How did the Dems fuck up now? Oh, you guys are not ready. What? And I missed it? Yeah, a guy called into the transatlantic call-in show, and he wanted to proselytize, and he wanted to say it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and he thought that this was a good argument against trans people. And his idea was that Satan tempts people into being trans. And so I asked him, like, how does Satan do that? Is he like a literal guy who like walks up and says, "Hey kid, you should be trans," and then the kids just go, "Okay," and then they trans themselves. And he was like, "Yeah, Satan is a literal guy." I was like, "So how do I know I'm not talking to Satan right now?" And that really proved to be an incredible stumbling block for his entire argument. It's it was very funny becoming the devil detective for like, I don't know, a solid 45 minutes maybe. I thought it was funny. That's incredible. It's definitely going on the channel at some point. Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Detective. Reporting for duty. You are a regular devil. You can transform people. He just kept saying if I was the literal devil, a literal guy, and I just kept losing my shit. It was very funny. I'm pretty sure you broke his brain. I'm pretty sure his brain was broken before he called in, you know? I'm pretty sure that happened before he called. He's called in before, you know? Do I mix these myself? Mix like the layouts? Yes. Mix the audio? I've tuned it finely over the course of quite some time. So hopefully the audio's okay. All right, before we get too deep into the show today, folks, please hit that follow button, hit that like button if you haven't yet. Liking the stream really helps it get to more people. Chatting in the stream over on YouTube really juices it in the algorithm. Chat to your heart's content, like to your heart's content, do the things. And yeah, we'll get started, huh? Hello, Yannick de Newborg. I didn't say hello to you. I know that because I usually remember saying your name. Hello, Fox of Fate. You should play that section for us? Nah, it'll go up on the YouTube soon. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
But do you mix the old-fashioned or the metaphors?
I don't mix the old fashioned. My partner mixes the drinks in my household. Big dick motherfucker, we love you too. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. And thank you for being the first person to support the stream today. You guys make this show possible. Could not do it without your incredible financial support, folks. So if you do feel inclined, please consider tossing a sub-tier streamer. Oh, viewers of plenty. Is your lingerie line bottom claps? What? Huh? Oh, is the lingerie line bottom clasp? I don't know if you're asking if, like, the panty has a clasp on it, or if you're asking, like, bottom snaps. I mean, it goes around and snaps in the back. Like a traditional bra. Like, I would take this off and show you. You know what? I could actually do that. I'll do that real quick. Not on camera.
It'd be nice if the subs gifted had a
Da 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 da. Out of an abundance of caution, I'm moving outside of the range of my camera in case it turned on somehow. I don't think it did, but I'm moving over here and I'm putting back my shirt on so I can show you this bralette from Imogene Olivia. This isn't an official jingle. Just taking off my bra. Do 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 boom boom boom. Okay. So this one I have worn to hell. Like, I've worn it like nonstop all the time. So it's a little bit you know, broken in, right? But as you can see, you know, it's got the straps, and then it goes around the back. Bada bing, bada boom. Then you clasp it around the back. You know? Traditional bralette design. Ooh, pretty. You can buy it over on ImogeneOlivia.com, babies. That's a serious clasp? Yeah. It's designed to provide support, even though it's not an underwire. All right. I am going to go put this back on. Putting on my bra again. This time I'm doing it off the screen. Do. Moving away from the microphone so I can do this again. Hopefully my visual storytelling helped when I showed you where those clasps were. Do. You know, sometimes there's a clasp in the front. Sometimes there's no clasps at all. You know, we live in a world full of diverse bodies, and so there's a lot of different clasp styles for bras and bralettes alike. And we'll have more designs at some point in the future. But right now, we've got the one. Do 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 do. Boo, 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 boo. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Gotta fix my hair now and make sure the girls are girling in my Imogen Olivia bralette. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right. We did it. Sorry. Oh, there's your jingle? I don't know. I don't know about that. The bra changing song? Yeah, everyone needs to have one. Oh, petrichor aroma. Petrichoroma. There we go. I get it. I get it. Do you guys not have a bra changing song? Gosh. As a man of culture who understands that memories are filled with men's hopes and dreams, I never forget bras exist. Hell yeah. It's just a loud grunt. I love you guys. I would have one if I had a bra. Well, one day, Megan Fox's giant boobs, I believe you will get a bra. It's your birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Petrichoroma. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday. I'm surprised we don't have a bra emote. I feel like for whatever reason YouTube would be weird about it. All right. You know what? We're gonna jump into it, okay? So, folks, today is Stephen Colbert's last day on the air after being taken off the most successful late night news comedy show. And we have to pay tribute, you know?
I just want to say that I love you all. I missed out on my birthday song.
Johnny Ramo, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. But you know what? I'll take a shot with you, okay? There's to you, Johnny Ramo. Whew. And there's to Stephen Colbert as well. Rip the Late Show.
Colbert was truly a victim of Weiss nationalism.
Sake Tanuki, you clever son of a bitch. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. You know, when I get comments in my comment section about how, you know, I did a really good job with a segment, but the folks in the chat really carried the show, I know who they're talking about. I know which of you are cracking wise to carry the segments. I know. Anyway, let's pay tribute to Stephen. I keep wanting to say Steven Crowder, and that is not who we're paying tribute to tonight. We're paying tribute to Stephen Colbert, and specifically, I thought it'd be nice to go back to his April 29th, 2006 White House Correspondents' Dinner appearance. One of his most legendary moments as a comedian. And You know, as we say goodbye to this era of Stephen Colbert, let's look back at one of his greatest hits.
Wow, what an honor. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. To sit here at the same table with my hero, George W. Bush. To be this close to the man. I feel like I'm dreaming. Somebody pinch me. You know what? I'm a pretty sound sleeper. That may not be enough. Somebody shoot me in the face. Is he really not here tonight? Damn it. The one guy who could have helped. By the way, before I get started, if anybody needs anything else at their tables, just speak slowly and clearly into your table numbers. Someone from the NSA will be right over with a cocktail. Mark Smith, ladies and gentlemen of the press corps, Madam First Lady, Mr. President, my name is Stephen Colbert, and tonight it is my privilege to celebrate this president. Because we're not so different, he and I. We both get it. Guys like us, we're not some brainiacs on the nerd patrol. We're not members of the Factinista. We go straight from the gut, right, sir? That's where the truth lies, right down here in the gut. Do you know you have more nerve endings in your gut than you have in your head? You can look it up. Now I know some of you are going to say I did look it up, and that's not true. That's because you looked it up in a book. Next time, look it up in your gut. I did. My gut tells me that's how our nervous system works. Every night on my show, The Colbert Report, I speak straight from the gut, okay? I give people the truth unfiltered by rational argument. I call it the no-fact zone. Fox News, I hold a copyright on that term. I'm a simple man with a simple mind. I hold a simple set of beliefs that I live by. Number one, I believe in America. I believe it exists. My gut tells me I live there.
This guy
I feel
genuinely
that it extends from the
firing
Atlantic
on
to the
all
Pacific.
cylinders.
And I strongly believe it has 50 states. And I cannot wait to see how the Washington Post spins that one tomorrow. I believe in democracy. I believe democracy is our greatest export, at least until China figures out a way to stamp it out of plastic for 3 cents a unit. As a matter of fact, Ambassador Zhou Enlong, welcome. Your great country makes our Happy Meals possible.
What's crazy to me is that some of these bits, you can tell what was considered controversial at the time by like the audience reaction, and it's just like, oh, that was considered edgy for the time. Okay, all right.
I said it's a celebration. I believe the government that governs best is the government that governs least, and by these standards, we have set up a fabulous government in Iraq. I believe in pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. I believe it is possible. I saw this guy do it once in Cirque du Soleil. It was magical. And though I am a committed Christian, I believe that everyone has the right to their own religion, be you Hindu, Jewish, or Muslim. I believe there are infinite paths to accepting Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's yogurt. But I refuse to believe it's not butter. Most of all, I believe in this president. Now, I know there's some polls out there saying that this man has a 32% approval rating. But guys like us, we don't pay attention to the polls. We know that polls are just a collection of statistics that reflect what people are thinking in reality. And reality has a well-known liberal bias. So, Mr. President, please pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half full. 32% means the glass. It's important to set up your jokes properly, sir. Sir, pay no attention to the people who say the glass is half empty, because 32% means it's 2/3 empty. There's still some liquid in that glass, is my point. But I wouldn't drink it. Last third is usually backwash. Okay. Look, folks,
damn, he's cooking though. He's cooking. If you did these jokes at Donald Trump today, to his face, he'd just have you killed.
Point is that I don't believe this is a low point in this presidency. I believe it is just a lull before a comeback. I mean, it's like the movie Rocky, all right? The president in this case is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed is everything else in the world. It's the 10th round. He's bloodied. His corner man, Mick, who in this case I guess would be the vice president, he's yelling, "Cut me, Dick, cut me." And every time he falls, everyone says, "Stay down, Rock, stay down." But does he stay down? No. Like Rocky, he gets back up, and in the end, he actually loses in the first movie. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, it is the heartwarming story of a man who was repeatedly punched in the face. So don't pay attention to the approval ratings that say that 68% of Americans disapprove of the job this man is doing. I ask you this, does that not also logically mean that 68% approve of the job he's not doing? Think about it. I haven't. I stand by this man. I stand by this man because he stands for things. Not only for things, he stands on things. Things like aircraft carriers and rubble and recently flooded city squares. And that sends a strong message that no matter what happens to America, she will always rebound with the most powerfully staged photo ops in the world. Now, there may be an energy crisis. Well, this president has a very forward-thinking energy policy. Why do you think he's down on the ranch cutting that brush all the time? He's trying to create an alternative energy source. By 2008, we will have a mesquite-powered car. And I just like the guy. He's a good Joe. Obviously loves his wife, calls her his better half, and polls show America agrees. And she's a true lady and a wonderful woman. But I just have one beef, ma'am. I'm sorry, but this reading initiative. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of books. I don't trust them. They're all fact, no heart. I mean, they're elitists telling us what is or isn't true or what did or didn't happen. Who's Britannica to tell me the Panama Canal was built in 1914? If I want to say it was built in 1941, that's my right as an American. I'm with the president. Let history decide what did or did not happen. The greatest thing about this man is he's steady. You know where he stands. He believes the same thing Wednesday that he believed on Monday, no matter what happened Tuesday. Events can change. This man's beliefs never will. And as excited as I am to be here with the president, I am appalled to be surrounded by the liberal media that is destroying America, with the exception of Fox News. Fox News gives you both sides of every story, the president's side and the vice president's side. But the rest of you, what are you thinking? Reporting on NSA wiretapping or secret prisons in Eastern Europe? Those things are secret for a very important reason. They're super depressing. And if that's your goal, well, misery accomplished. Over the last 5 years, you people were so good. Over tax cuts, WMD intelligence, the effect of global warming, we Americans didn't want to know, and you had the courtesy not to try to find out. Those were good times.
I love that he just roasted this room full of, like, mainstream reporters to their faces while also roasting the president to his face. It's some great stuff.
As far as we knew. But listen, let's review the rules. Here's how it works. The president makes decisions. He's the decider. The press secretary announces those decisions, and you people of the press type those decisions down. Make, announce, type. Just put them through a spell check and go home. Get to know your family again. Make love to your wife. Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction. Because really, what incentive do these people have to answer your questions after all? I mean, nothing satisfies you. Everybody asks for personnel changes. So, the White House has personnel changes. And then you write, oh, they're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. First of all, that is a terrible metaphor. This administration is not sinking. This administration is soaring. If anything, they are rearranging the deck chairs on the Hindenburg. Members of the White House Correspondents Association, Madam First Lady, Mr. President, it's been a true honor. Thank you very much. Good night.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Legend signing off tonight. Do we have time to make fun of John Fetterman today? That is not loading for me. So, no. I tried to click the link, but it didn't work. All right. On that note, folks, let's dive into our first story of the day, shall we? Now, here we go. So, folks, I wanted to talk a little bit to you guys about the trucking industry. Because one of the bugbears of the Trump administration is that immigrants, both documented and undocumented, have the the ability to get driver's licenses. And this really bothers the people in the Trump admin. Because they feel like if you are an immigrant, you shouldn't be able to, like, get a fully fledged license. And if you're undocumented, you double shouldn't get one because you're undocumented. Now, why do some states offer driver's licenses to undocumented folks? Well, because they are going to drive cars if they are denied driver's licenses. We know that because that's what happens in states that don't issue driver's licenses to undocumented folks. What this winds up doing is actually putting more people in danger. It puts undocumented immigrants in a position of desperation. And also, it leaves them in the dark as to how to safely operate a motor vehicle in line with the laws and regulations of the United States. If you offer the licensing path for undocumented immigrants, what that means is more people are driving more safely. It is a good policy. It is a good policy to have more trained, safe drivers rather than fewer trained, safe drivers. It's not difficult to wrap your head around here. But because of all of the fear-mongering around undocumented immigrants, the Trump administration chose to remove the ability of immigrants in the United States to get commercial driver's licenses. Now, this process started back in March, and it targets around some 200,000 people. That's around 10% of the trucking workforce. And, of course, as you might imagine, this has effects on how much it costs to ship things, especially after the president massively causes a massive jump in oil prices. And I guess this is just your warning here. But before we get to some new disturbing data, just wanted to look a little bit more into this licensing issue. Here's a piece by CBS, all right?
In March, some 200,000 immigrants began losing their commercial driver's licenses, which are required to operate large vehicles like semi-trucks, buses, and tractor-trailers. It's part of a series of moves by the Trump administration to limit who can drive those vehicles after some high-profile crashes involving foreign-born drivers. Lisa Desjardins is back now with the story.
As the backbone of America, everybody needs their goods.
For over a decade, come rain or shine, Mayoral Solares of Portland, Oregon, drove a semi-truck across the western U.S. But suddenly, he has to end that career, and with it, the main source of income for his family of 5.
When I first heard of it, my heart started racing. I feared for the worst. As soon as I heard it, I was like, hey, I'm gonna lose my license. I'm not gonna be able to renew.
In March, a Trump administration rule took effect, barring some groups of immigrants with temporary status, including DACA recipients like Solares, from getting or renewing their commercial driver's licenses. Citing a handful of fatal crashes involving immigrant truckers, the rule also applies to refugees and asylum seekers.
Yeah, so basically, you may remember last year, there were a number of stories that got pushed in the mainstream media about immigrants getting into car accidents. And if you thought that that was kind of weird, how like a bunch of folks started fear-mongering about that for like maybe a couple weeks. Well, basically it manufactured consent to strip a huge swath of immigrants of the ability to get commercial licenses and ended their ability to renew their commercial licenses.
Solares was brought to the U.S. illegally from Guatemala when he was 2 years old. At 14, he enrolled in DACA, which allowed him to legally work in the U.S., ultimately owning his own trucks.
I love the job.
He's driven for 12 years, but late last month, his license expired, and due to the new rule, he can't renew it.
They use the word safety. You're using it as a disguise. I believe your intentions are different, and safety could be one of them, but you're using that more of a playing card more than reality of what you're really trying to do.
Like, I mean, he's right. Like, there's not really much more to this. Like, it is just a veneer to justify racist policy. That's it. Full stop. Right? And yeah, it's a known fact that American citizens never get in car accidents. Exactly, Just Textbooks. I wanted to put out this. All right. Let's take a quick look here.
This market is so...
I wanted to throw this up here. This is from Freight Waves.
Chaotic that we have now returned back to COVID in the terms of spot rates.
I don't think it's chaotic, Zach. I think it's incredibly bullish. I don't think chaos is the right term. There is no chaos. It is absolutely one direction.
One direction.
It is going in that direction, and it is incredibly bullish. I don't think it's chaos. Now, maybe
if you're procuring freight,
compared to where we were a year ago, freight is just chaotic, period.
Yeah.
It has been incredibly volatile over the last couple of years. It might be the most volatile commodity on the planet. But what I think is really interesting is there's no chaos happening. It is one direction, and it is going up there. It is the absolute. Harry Styles will be super proud of what's happening here because it is going up, up, up. And that's what we have to say. We hit a brand new record of $3.69 yesterday, or I should say, the old record was $3.68. And I actually tweeted, will we hit a new record? We're off by 14 cents. Last week during Road Check Week, we hit $3.61. So the question was, what do we see follow through this week? And we absolutely got the answer today. Brand new record at $3.69.
Yeah, this is the daily print.
So this is the daily print. This is the daily print. This is not the weekly print. The highest daily print was $3.68. This will drive the weekly print. We're headed in. Anyone who's been around trucking knows that holidays, you do see higher rates going into holiday weekends. You do see higher tender rejections going to holiday weekends. This year's no different. I think the big question we all asked ourselves was during Road Check Week, would we have a follow-on this week? Would we continue to see tightness this week? And the answer is an absolutely resounding yes. And the question is now, I think this is a lower number for what we'll see all weekend. I think this is going to continue to rally through the weekend. That's going to bring the weekly rate way up. And so I don't see any softness coming into Memorial Day. The question is what happens post-Memorial Day? And Zach, I think we're up. I think it's going to continue.
Now, you might be forgiven for listening to that and hearing their cheery tone and thinking, oh, so this is good. It's good that this has gone all the way back up to COVID levels. What is a trucking spot rate? Well, when you are talking about trucking spot rates, it is basically considered how trucking or freight transportation is calculated per mile. So if, for example, the price goes to $5 per mile, that means that it costs more to ship anything by the mile. So when you see a graph, right? When you see a graph like this, I'm going to try and open it here nice and big for you guys, that shows that the rate has gone up rather from around $2.25 roughly in 2025 to $3.69, a high compared even to COVID. That means it's costing about, 50% more to ship stuff. That's bad. And that is a combination of truckers being kicked out of the job market by the Trump administration's licensing policy, and also, of course, the war in Iran. Both of these things are entirely attributable to Donald Trump. And both of these things are going to trickle down, as it were, throughout the entire economy. Literally everything is going to get more expensive because of this, because everything is going to be more expensive to ship. So I hope you've enjoyed the prices you've been seeing recently, because if this spike is any indicator, we're going to see those prices continue to go up. Why is it that bad things trickle down, but the good things don't? Because the people at the top keep all the good shit for themselves. They want the price to trickle down to affect you, so they don't have to hold on to that cost. They're incentivized to keep as much of the good shit as they can. They are disincentivized to hold on to the main brunt of any cost increase. Why were they being so cheery about it? Because it means, if you are in the shipping business, your business is probably going to be making a lot of money. Because you can hide more cuts for profits in those price increases for shipping. So shipping companies probably stand to make money. companies trading and speculating on the spot freight market are probably also going to be doing pretty well. Yeah, some people, as per usual, when all of the costs are shifted onto working people, some people still make a shit ton of money. You know, kind of like the saying about casinos, the house always wins. Like incredibly wealthy capitalists always win. When the economy collapses, you know, provided they aren't over leveraged and that their finances don't collapse with the rest of the economy, they're in a prime position to sweep in and buy up a bunch of assets for cheap after everyone else has gone bust. You know, it's what happens every time the economy crashes. You get a consolidation of wealth, and some people make a shit ton of money. So anyway, just buckle in, folks, because we are in for a bumpy 2026, and I have a feeling a bumpy 2027 and a bumpy 2028 as well. But who knows? You know, maybe I'm just a pessimist. So, folks, get organized. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA. If you need help, join our Discord. Reach out to GamerG for help with DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. And also, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. Go check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tuck lingerie. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going. We did it. How you doing, folks? How you doing? How you doing? How you living? How you doing? First horror down. The next segment, believe it or not, isn't fully a horror. So, you know, we've got another segment, and you know, we're gonna work our way through that, and then we've got the DNC story. Okay, you guys ready? Also, folks, we've been going for an hour. If you've been enjoying the show, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do the button things. You know what to do. And also, consider financially supporting the show because you guys make it possible. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click button. Click button. Click button. Click button. Click all right. Are you guys ready, Freddies? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Let's prep these. There we go.
TFW
No!
Bralette segment cuts off a dono.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs, and your previous donut, it'd be nice if the subs gifted had a counter like Twitch. WN? What does WN stand for? Or when? Why not? I do want to say I have requested that feature from the White Forest mod team. Not mod team. White Forest dev team. And they said it was a good idea and they're working on it. Don't know when they're going to implement it, but I did bring it up like months ago, and hopefully at some point in the future it will be implemented. Yeah, it's already implemented on Twitch. Our greatest minds are working on it, indeed. If we're turning over the party, we need to fuck up these people in particular. Yeah, fuck Henry Cuellar, fuck Don Davis, fuck Cleo Fields, fuck Laura Gillen, fuck Vicente Gonzalez, fuck Marcy Captur, fuck Marie Glusenkamp Perez, fuck Eugene Vidman. Disgusting pieces of shit. Voted to ban trans people from being teachers and also to ban any mention of LGBTQ topics from schools. Fuck them. No place for that kind of hatred in the future. You know, there should be a really simple test, okay? A very simple test as to whether or not you should be active in the Democratic Party. All right? I call it the Sam Cedar fellatio test, all right? Fellatio test.
I do not fellate Nazis.
Everyone should be able to say that. The people I just listed can't say that. Marie Glusenkamp Perez is such a fucking embarrassment. The fuck, I missed this story? Yeah. The House of Representatives today advanced basically a national level don't say gay bill. It really fucking
We need
sucks.
to bring back stockades and public humiliation just for them. All the rotten fruit that wasn't picked by the immigrants they refuse to support.
Like, I feel like I'm like one bad week away from supporting like specifically political traitors being put in gibbets, like even as like a PR stunt or something, because like genuinely I don't know what it will take for politicians to be more afraid to lie to their constituents. You shouldn't be lying this brazenly to your constituents about who you are and what you stand for. You know?
WN equals white nervosa.
Ah, I see. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the additional 2 tier 1 subs. It's insane that things like this are happening, and Amir Odom, or whatever that guy's name was, is trying to make normal gay happen. He really is Candace's little brother. I mean, to be fair to Amir Odom, I feel like trying to make normal gay happen is just trying to make fetch happen. I don't think he's going to succeed there. How about potatoes? I can't talk about where I'm at in chat. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that in my bones. In my bones. Also, one second. Let me fix this. Why is this locked? There we go. Then just gonna I have to fix something on the there we go. Nailed it. Now I lock it back down so it can't be moved. There we go. I'm thinking going further than that, but you do you. I like that's the thing, right? Like I don't want to tempt you guys into Fed posting. But like the level of anger I have right now for elected officials in this country is really large. I want Athenian rules. Being elected for public office should be a punishment. Honestly, King Kerplunk, I've been thinking about that as like a solution to the Supreme Court. You know, like maybe every week, members of the Supreme Court have to like enter into an arena where they do battle against a cave bear. You know, and they have to make do with whatever weapons are thrown onto the ground, the sand of the arena for them. You know, like. Make it be something where like they are sweating to get out of that job. I'm just spitballing here. Don't have a specific arena in mind. Use Mario Kart for diplomacy. All right. Let's jump into our next segment, okay? You guys ready? Maybe a big squid? Yeah, they have to dive to 30,000 feet below sea level and do battle against a great white. Okay. We settle wars with Final Destination, Fox only, no items. All right. 9 justices enter, 1 justice leaves. God. All right. Here we go. Jumping into our next segment. Here we go. So, folks, we got some interesting new data that I think is going to inform what we're going to talk about in a moment here. But G. Elliott Morris put out new numbers today indicating the profound level of Donald Trump's disapproval in this country. And
not gonna lie, I'd love to see KBJ go full Medea on a cave bear.
Oh, KBJ would win, hands down. But would KBJ defend Samuel Alito? That I'm not so sure about. Anyway, we've got numbers from G. Elliott Morris, all right? And it shows Donald Trump's disapproval and approval rating, respectively, over the course of, the last year. And it's really, really bad. Let's take a look. So, as you can see here, Donald Trump hasn't been more popular than unpopular since around February of 2025. And he's only gotten more unpopular and more disapproved of with time. And we have now officially hit a 60% disapproval rate of Donald Trump. Now, you, of course, might be saying, well, that's still a 36.5 approval rate. That's still relatively high. It is worth pointing out that at no point during Donald Trump's first term did he ever hit 60% disapproval. 60% is the top line on this graph. Donald Trump, during his first term, never went above 58% disapproval. So what I'm trying to get at here is that also it's not even related to a single spike. It has just been a consistent upward trend when it comes to disapproval. And he's already here, and we haven't hit the midterms yet. This graph takes place over 4 years. This graph takes place over a year and a half. In a year and a half, he managed to hit an all-time high of disapproval for himself. And this isn't like spiking numbers going up and down based on like events. This is just, he's consistently been pissing everybody off. And there's no reason to believe here that his numbers are going to improve. Like, if he continues on this trajectory, you know, give him like, I don't know, 4 more months, maybe he'll hit 70%. You know, genuinely. That's where we're at. Yeah, maybe a 69%. Nice goal. Exactly. And all of this is not going to be helped by the latest crisis. Now, if you haven't been paying attention for the last couple of days, I did a segment maybe a day or two ago about the most corrupt thing any US president has ever done. And in this case, it's Donald Trump creating a roughly $1.8 billion slush fund for himself. I think it's like $1.77 billion. But this fund is just going to be used to pay out Trump's allies whenever they get into legal trouble, cover their expenses, you know, give them rewards for loyalty, etc. It is truly disgusting. And Republicans in the House and the Senate realize that this slush fund puts them in a terrible position, because members of the Trump administration right now are going out in front of the press and saying the darndest things. Here's Todd Blanche, acting attorney general.
Account. You're the nation's top law enforcement official right now. Would you be okay with people who were convicted of hurting police getting taxpayer money?
Just to be clear, people that hurt police get money all the time. Okay, there's a process where if you believe you have your rights violated, you can apply for funds, you can sue, you can file a claim, you can go to court. In some of those cases, the state, the government, the federal government settles those cases. It's abhorrent to ever touch a law enforcement officer, which is why anytime anybody does that, and it's a federal officer, we'll prosecute them. But that's a completely different question with whether an individual is allowed to apply for a claim, whether they'll get a claim.
Like, I gotta be honest, that this kind of response infuriates basically all of the Republican lawmakers, because now they've all hung their hats on Donald Trump. They have all hung their hats on what Donald Trump does, but they're going into a midterm era where they need to make themselves look as good as possible to their voters. And guess what? Voters fucking hate Donald Trump's personal slush fund for legal woes, you know? And that is really, really difficult. That puts them in a position where, you know, I hesitate to even speak this aloud because I don't want to put the hope out there that maybe this is a breaking point for some Republicans in positions of political power. I wouldn't hold my breath for that, but also, there's some really interesting news coverage coming out of Capitol Hill here. So, in particular, this piece caught my eye. GOP senators press Blanche on anti-weaponization fund intense meeting. Now, this meeting has been widely reported, and it featured a lot of yelling and took place over the course of about 2 hours behind closed doors. You could call it a curveball right at the end, and nobody could hit it, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville told reporters after the meeting in reference to the compensation fund. Sources inside the meeting say Blanche did not provide adequate answers or clarity about this $1.776 billion Justice Department fund announced earlier this week, which will provide taxpayer-funded payouts to people who allege the legal system has been weaponized against them. It's part of an agreement between President Trump and the federal government to settle his lawsuit against the IRS and Treasury Department over the leak of his tax returns. Right? Basically, Republicans don't even know how this fund is going to operate. There is no congressional oversight of the fund. There is no independent review. There is no, mandated reporting on how this is being paid out. It's just a massive pile of unaccountable money that the president controls. And this circumventing of Republicans is leaving them pretty upset. All right. One GOP source who was in the room said the Trump administration dropped the news of the fund on lawmakers at the last minute and with bad messaging. The source said the administration does not seem to grasp how poorly the public views it. A senior Republican aide said that a bill to fund Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement that the Senate was supposed to vote on Friday would have been passed if not for the actions of the administration. Members were ready to vote until the DOJ anti-weaponization fund announcement. So basically, this is leading to congressional Republicans shutting down their normal operations, because that's the level of consternation this has thrown them into, right? So I just want to put out there that none of this would be leaking if there wasn't a significant number of incredibly upset Republican lawmakers. Now, will this translate into any kind of concrete action? Again, wouldn't hold my breath about it, but it's all very interesting. Let's take a quick look here at another thing. This specific quote is what really caught my eye and what I wanted to share with you guys. All right. And then I'll read you a few others. Yeah, here's a couple of the juicy quotes. We're not going to reward people that attack policemen and people of authority, said Tuberville, who generally supports the idea of the fund. Blanche said that. Susan Collins told CBS, she's running against Graham Plattner, so she's in a tough spot. She raised the issue with Blanche, and he seemed to suggest people who assaulted law enforcement would not receive settlements from the fund. Still, she wants to see language and more clarity from the Justice Department. And it's odd that Todd Blanche said that, because he just went on we just saw the clip where he went on live television and stated, people get money for hurting police all the time. What? In order to defend giving money to January 6th insurrectionists who fought police. By the way, there's a story now circulating about a man who used bear spray on a police officer on January 6th, who has new charges for sexual sexual activity with a minor, and how he plans to get some of the money out of this fund, because he was unfairly targeted by the federal government in his argument. These stories are going to keep coming up. Enrique Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys, is talking about how he wants to get in on this action. Former Trump officials, the very first one, former assistant something or other in the Trump administration last time around, I think Mark Caputo, is jumping in to try and get some money out of this compensation fund. It is really stupid and really anger-inducing, especially as people are told, well, we don't have money for food stamps. We don't have money to keep you on Medicare anymore. But we do have money to just hand Donald Trump $1.8 billion. Deeply offensive, deeply infuriating, and deeply unpopular on both sides of the aisle among constituents, of course. Let's take another look here. Bill Cassidy, a Louisiana Republican, has been becoming more and more critical of the compensation fund, and said after the meeting, the kind of gut reaction is, that's not right. And if it's not right, we shouldn't be doing it. And this one I found particularly interesting. Mitch McConnell put out a statement despite not being in this meeting. And that statement said, So the nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops. Utterly stupid, morally wrong, take your pick. And that's pretty interesting to me. Mitch McConnell, as old as he is not someone without influence in the Republican Party. That statement doesn't get made to mainstream press unless it is calculated by not just him on the fly, but also his team. You know, that is it doesn't get released unless there is a pretty sizable number of Republicans backing that sentiment, right? So, I don't know. What I would say here is that Mitch McConnell in this case is operating as the Senate Majority Leader John Thune's mouthpiece, you know? That's the impression that I get here. Because John Thune has been, throughout the entirety of the Trump administration, attempting to be very... Yeah, he's not trying to make headlines. He's just trying to guide the ship, as it were, as gently as possible. He hasn't been, like, making waves in front of cameras and whatnot. And I think he intends to remain that way. Like, he likes kind of being like a puppet master behind the scenes type. And I don't know. It's very, very interesting. Here's what he said, okay? I think it's hard to divorce anything that happens here from what's happening in the political atmosphere around us. There's a political component to everything we do around here, so yeah, you can't disconnect those things. And then he went on to say that he was not consulted on the fund before it was announced. It would have been nice if they had consulted, and I think they probably would have gotten plenty of advice from lots of folks about it, he said, but it's water under the bridge now, and you play the hand you're dealt, and we'll sort it out from here. But, obviously, it became a more complicated and bumpy path than we had hoped for, which is a very even-keeled thing to say, but I think he's basically playing the good cop to Mitch McConnell's, decrepit evil cop. And that's kind of the dynamic that's been playing out around this. Here is Senator Tom Tillis making really no secret about how he feels about all of this happening.
I think it's stupid on stilts.
Why?
Because it will invariably put us in a position where your taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars could potentially compensate someone who assaulted a police officer, admitted their guilt, got convicted, got pardoned, and now we're going to pay them for that? That's absurd. The American people are going to reject this out of hand. When you take money from me to give to a purpose that I vehemently disagree with, that's tyranny, and that's what that account is. I think it's stupid on stilts.
Why?
I think it's stupid on stilts. Insane. Stupid on stilts. So if you took something stupid and then propped it up on stilts for all to see. Just a great turn of phrase, really. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. This has ground deliberations on new legislation to a halt, which I view as a win. Donald Trump has become measurably more unpopular as time goes by. This is proving to be so unpopular that even members of the GOP who are firmly in the Donald Trump's cult and beholden to Donald Trump for practically everything, even they are like pumping the brakes on everything to slow it down and try and get this sorted out, that to be more in their favor, to have more oversight. And they this is truly a clusterfuck for the Republicans, and they're not going to sort it out anytime soon. My guess is, as we go forward, things are going to get more and more messy for Republicans in power. And I don't know. I think that's good. I think anything that slows down Republicans at this point, anything that hinders terrible legislation passed by Republicans, anything that, makes them turn on Trump or causes friction, anything at all along those lines is good, right? Every day, every hour that passes that we are able to delay them might just be part of the building blocks for a way for us to build a better future. A weakness we can take advantage of in the superstructure when it comes for to closer to the midterms as we inch ever closer and as we get closer to the general. So I don't know. I thought it was good news. Obviously, it's good news that comes alongside incredibly dire news and one of the most corrupt things any president has ever done, if not the most corrupt thing any president has ever done. And I guess it's good to know that there's some kind of line where even Republicans will go, whoa, wait a minute. Even if that line may or may not be because they would have liked to be able to be consulted so they could get their cut, Even if it is out of dubious self-interest, slowing them down is good. So, all that being said, folks, if you want to stop the most corrupt political movement in U.S. history, it is going to take a lot of us getting organized together on the local level, everywhere we can, in every state, in every city, in every village and town. We can get our presence known in. Okay, we need people showing up to their local meetings. Show up to your local Dems. Show up to your local DSA. We need people to make their Democrats more progressive, to kick out those corporatist assholes who have put the soul of the party for sale. We need people in DSA who are organizing working people in their communities. We need people who are willing to join up and do the hard work of showing up to meetings and talking with folks and getting people to coordinate action in more progressive and productive directions. So that can be you. And it relies upon all of us doing our parts where we can. Right? It's not enough to just know the right politics and political takes anymore. You got to start acting on that knowledge. So, folks, if you need help, join our Discord. Reach out to GamerG for help with DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. And also, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words really help in the algorithm. And you know what? Let me know. Let me know how bad you think this scandal is on a scale of 1 to 10 and why. 10 being, I don't know, we're collapsing into a black hole from whence no light will ever escape again, and 1 being ow, I stubbed my toe. Let me know where we fall on that spectrum. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy lingerie, and it's non-tuck. So go check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description, and let's keep on going. Oof. There we go. We did it. It's the most corrupt thing so far. Indeed. Indeed. Is the lingerie compatible with clicking the butt? Oh boy, is it. And folks, as a reminder, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and do consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. because you guys make this show possible. Thanks to viewers like you. Thank you. Thanks, Heather Black. Appreciate you. Go. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the button. Click the goddamn button. Click the button. Chat! Just want to say thank you to the folks who have been dropping those subs and donos today. Thank you, Sake Tanuki. Thank you, Johnny Ramo. Thank you, Pluvius. Thank you for supporting the show. You guys have made today's stream possible. Now, for folks who are over on riverboat.gg, just as an FYI, it appears that the website might be a little bit kaput, so do avoid refreshing. The chat still seems to be working, but the website itself, do not refresh. It appears to be struggling. At least on my end. Oof. Do you have shorts of you doing your typical call to organize? I don't, but I can ask my editor if we can cut one. Oh, okay. No refresh. Got it. Yeah, if it's working fine for you, I'm just letting you know, don't refresh it because it could lock you in. Not in a productive way. Also, fishing. Thank you. Appreciate the compliments. All right. Are you guys ready?
There are some that are.
Ah! Excuse me. Side note, I watched the movie Hook tonight. It's a good film. Really holds up. Critics panned it at the time, and you know what? They were fools. Fools, the lot of them. Cute movie? It is a cute movie. The colors are just popping. It's wonderful. Love it. Bangarang! Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you for the $2 super chat. Carrie Fisher cleaned up that script? Aw. Also, Dustin Hoffman is just the quintessential Captain Hook, you know? Wait, Rufio is the voice actor for Zuko? That's so cool. I didn't know that. Also, like, real talk, Rufio was genuinely, like, the coolest character any of you had ever seen, or have seen.
The kissing couple on the bridge as Peter flies to Neverland is Carrie Fisher and George Lucas.
Wait, really? That's lovely. I had no idea. Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs, and thank you for continuing to support the stream. Appreciate you. Isn't there also a movie like Hook that has Tim Curry? Yeah, Muppet Treasure Island. See ya, Paradox Bingo. Muppet Treasure Island absolutely slaps. It is a delight. Okay. God. No. Let me pull this up. Ba-da-da-da-da. Gotta pull this up. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Early Will Smith slapped in a very different way than recent Will Smith.
Very true. Very, very true. Is this the correct one? Yeah, here we go.
Here is some money.
Fallout fan, thank you for the $5 super chat. And Socket Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. All right. Had to get this ready to go. Okay. And is this it? Yes, here it is. Cool. Had to get those ducks in a row. All right, you guys ready to talk about the DNC? Niaz reluctantly send Jack Monster. I do got some Monster. So, folks, we have to talk about how Ken Martin, head of the DNC, how his proverbial dog ate his homework when it came to the 2024 autopsy. This is a really big deal, and I'll explain what I mean in a moment. But Ken Martin was elected to be head of the DNC in order to have a competent set of leadership skills at the helm to pilot the DNC through choppy waters, as it were. Like, it was intended for him, because Ken Martin was in charge of a lot of Democratic activity in Minnesota for a very long time, and is credited with keeping Minnesota blue, right? And he got elected in this fraught internal election within the DNC, and it turns out that he might not be as competent as many establishment Democrats wanted us to feel he was. All right. So Ken Martin, for months now, has been delaying the 2024 autopsy report. This is a report that the DNC commissioned in order to go over what happened in the 2024 election, why Democrats didn't win, and how Democrats can fix those problems going forward. It's a pretty important job. It's a pretty important fact-finding mission. It is a very important thing. He campaigned on releasing it, and I've done videos of this in the past, which on the topic of why is he not releasing it. In particular, about a month ago, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Ken Martin went on the Pod Save America podcast and was just repeatedly asked, like, why aren't you releasing this? And just gave bizarro answers about how, well, the autopsy, the report is the lessons that they've been releasing, but no one gets to see the data because, haha, you don't get it. And as more details of the report got leaked, Ken Martin got put into a position to basically be like, okay, yeah, fine, here's the entire thing. So he did that last night. And here is his statement. When I was elected DNC chair, I commissioned an after-action review of the 2024 election that I wanted to be honest and transparent, and with actionable and specific takeaways for the future of the Democratic Party. When I received the report late last year, it wasn't ready for prime time, not even close. Because no source material was provided, it would have meant starting over. I could not in good faith put the DNC's stamp of approval on that report, on the report that was produced. After last November's massive Democratic wins, I didn't want to create a distraction. But by not putting the report out, I ended up creating an even bigger distraction. For that, I sincerely apologize. For full transparency, I am releasing the report as we received it in its entirety, unedited and unabridged. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards. But I am doing this because people need to be able to trust the Democratic Party and trust our word. Which is a very rich thing for him to say after breaking his word repeatedly for months and lying about why he was doing so. And I want to talk a little bit here because with the report not released, many people were coming to their own conclusions. Like, oh, maybe they came up with really damning evidence for like moderate Democrats. Maybe it is just like really embarrassing. Like, oh, we have to pivot farther to the right. Very clearly invoking like neoliberalism and Reagan and shit. Like, what could it be? Why aren't they releasing it? Well, I've looked over the first several pages of it just to kind of get an idea and like flick through it as well. And I gotta tell you guys, it is an embarrassing clusterfuck. Okay? To be completely honest with you. And we're gonna go over this, but I want to start from a point of saying Ken Martin needs to resign. He is not the guy that can get us through Democrats going into an era of political street fighting with the Republican fascist movement. Like, it is just not the kind of leadership that can successfully get us through a time of intense political conflict. Like, he needs to resign, and someone who is willing to actually fight for folks competently needs to take his place. Because some additional background is that apparently the DNC paid no money for this report. And apparently one of Ken Martin's friends, a Democratic strategist from outside the Democratic Party, did this report. And the level of incompetence on display in this report is like people need to lose their jobs over it. Like, it's not okay, right? And even David Hogg is coming out of the woodwork now to also say Ken Martin should resign. I'm far from the only person saying it. But to give you guys an idea of how bad this is, all right? I am going to walk you through some of the initial pages of this, okay?
Kinda makes you wish someone like a Keith Ellison or a David Hogg was working in the DNC as chair or something.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? It would have been really great if Ken Martin hadn't banished David Hogg from the DNC. So we have this. You might be saying, but Jack, this is just a blank page. And it should be noted, first of all, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Every page has this disclaimer at the top. Disclaimer. This document reflects the views of the author, not the DNC. The DNC was not provided with the underlying sourcing, interviews, or supporting data for many of the assertions contained herein, and therefore cannot independently verify the claims presented. And you might notice that the very first words on this page are title page. Because this report was never finished. This this report was never finished. They left in outline shit. What the fuck is this? Yeah. It's clown shit. That's what it is. Build to Win, Built to Last is the title of it. Then you get to the second page, which is Leadership Message, and you'll note that the second page is entirely blank because there is no leadership message included in this. This report has entire sections of it missing. Then you have, of course, the table of contents, introduction, executive summary, electoral landscape, what happened, electoral review, state of media and communication, state of research and strategy, state of organizing and advocacy, state of technology and data, fundraising analysis, spending analysis, conclusion, appendices, notes for the reader, and sources. Now, we finally get to some text here. It's the introduction. Introduction. In every election cycle, the two major parties and hundreds of outside groups invest enormous resources and energy trying to define the terrain for voter choice. What happens at the presidential level certainly impacts down-ballot contests, yet candidates across the ballot in both parties will seek to define the choices for voters in their specific elections. From those choices, the voters decide which choice is the most resonant. One party declares itself the winner, and the other party declares that the fight is far from finished. Effective parties, understanding history rarely repeats itself, it does often rhyme, make it a point to study electoral outcomes after each election, each cycle, to identify potential improvements to every aspect of their campaigns. Now, what's interesting here is that there are words missing in this sentence. We're in the second paragraph. Effective parties, comma, understanding history rarely repeats itself, comma, it does often rhyme, comma. This is not a sentence. This is not competent writing. And not only that, like, this is a report for internal use within the DNC that they pledged to then release to the public, right? And going into this report, they knew that that was what it was for. Why is this introduction covering basic bitch politics? The summary is blowing my mind. Yeah. And then you have, after this sentence, a multi-space for no reason. John Adams argued, quote, liberty, and again, no comma here. You'll notice throughout this, it is riddled with spelling, grammatical errors, punctuation errors. Like, is this the draft? This is the draft. Liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people who have a right, ... and a desire to know.
In the Democratic National Committee, the voters are represented by two separate, yet equal groups. The donors that pay us, and the reps that serve them.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs, and thank you for queuing me up for awesome sound bits. And also, thank you for financially supporting this stream. Sake Tanuki single-handedly taking all chats on his back. Are you trans? I am. And, like, I'm not going to read out all of this to you guys, but, like, I want you to see how long it takes in this introduction to get to anything remotely relevant to the 2024 election, right? This desire to know, to understand what is going well and needs to be maintained, along with understanding what is not working and needs to evolve, is at the heart of any substantive effort to evaluate the relative impact of strategies and tactics tied to a specific election cycle and specific candidate matchup in order to generate insights about what happened. A thorough review can provide a blueprint for future campaigns, establishing a series of lessons learned to drive continuous improvement to future efforts. In this regard, the 2024 election was no different from any other. There were many dramatic moments framing the narrative of the national campaign. thousands of candidates seeking support from voters, and billions of dollars spent across the ballot and throughout the electoral ecosystem to advance particular interests. There are many books already written, and many more to come, presenting analyses of what happened for both sides, the efficacy of the strategies advanced, decisions made, and actions taken during the presidential campaign. Like, have we gotten to any, like, actual useful information? I'm losing my fucking mind, right? People have been waiting like a year and a half for this. These analyses, in order to present a thorough picture of the will of the people and the choices they made, must extend beyond the presidential campaign to include those strategies, decisions, and actions taken by other federal, state, and local candidates on ballots nationwide to examine why so many were able to succeed where others came up short. Understanding that little d, democracy, is the will of the people, and big D, democracy, represents the systems and structures in place to advance or inhibit the will of the people. There must also be a review and analysis of the systemic and structural issues, some going back more than a decade, which have impacted electoral outcomes at every level.
This sounds like a dictator speech in 1939.
It does, but I'm trying to invoke maybe a different vibe. I'm seeing how many of you can pick up on it. Thank you for the $10 super chat, though, Attack on Pony Productions. These issues can inhibit the evolution of democracy and limit the reach and success of the Democratic Party. Unfortunate reductions in support and training for our state parties, consequential shifts in voter registration, a loss of partisan organizing capacity, and a persistent inability or unwillingness to listen to all voters has provided the other major party with opportunities for advancement at the expense of democratic growth, evolution, and ability to find common ground, with seemingly disparate groups of voters from coast to coast, and the heartland Democrats tend to ignore. Historically, Democrats have held the advantage in each of these areas. The Democratic Party has always tried to be seen as the party of the people, the party of workers, fair play and civil discourse. The party's connections with working Americans and their families were forged through decades of organizing and engagement. The development of a vibrant and inclusive party infrastructure and relatable agenda, which helped us connect in homes, workplaces, and neighborhoods across the country. This report explores the depth and breadth of how we lost these relationships by examining both the candidate-specific circumstances and the overall trending away from effective and accountable politicking, and seeks to expound on the combination of strategic, tactical, and organizing improvements Democrats need to form an effective, durable majority party strategy. So, so far, I have read you guys about a page and a half of this intro. What of substance has been shared? What exactly? Yeah, nothing. Exactly. It has said nothing. Nothing at all. I see some of you are already realizing what is happening here, in my estimation. But it somehow gets worse. I want to read the following two sections, okay, of this introductory area. So bear with me, right? Bear with me here. Lubius, thank you for the $5 dono.
Not gonna lie, I would have preferred malfeasance to this nonsense AI bullshit. We thought he was hiding it because he's crooked. Turns out it's because he was British sitcom level incompetent.
It was genuine infomercial at like 2 a.m. bumbling incompetence. You know, like, have you ever struggled to hold too many kitchen items in your feeble human hands? Whoa! Well, we have the thing for you. It's the Human Handatron 5000. Now it's able to give you 5 extra hands. 5 extra helping hands, that is. You can hold 5 times the number of kitchen items. Next time you trip, you will be falling into a gigantic pile of potentially sharp objects, but by buying this product, you forfeit your right to sue us. See you at arbitration, suckers. Why now? Like, including in the introduction to this report a why now section genuinely feels like salt in the wound, because anyone reading a 2024 autopsy of what went wrong understands why we're reading an autopsy right now for what happened in 2024. But let's see if maybe this report manages to figure out why it's coming out right now. Democracy is a very old institution, and yet what keeps democracy going is the ability of those who seek to lead to look at the data and determine the source of success as well as setbacks. This after-action report specifically aims to identify and elaborate upon the actions the Democratic Party must take after what happened in the 2024 cycle. The report identifies the programs and priorities for consideration and implementation to build our party, to win over the next 10 years, and to again become the party of the people well into the future. This report includes a thorough evaluation of voter behavior in the context of the individual level collection of voter contact data and localized demographic data. The analyses aim to identify gaps in participation, determine the correlation between the frequency and distribution of partisan voter contact, and declare the urgent steps needed to reclaim our strength in engaging voters across the nation. In simple terms, this report follows the money, identifying the top spenders and vendors in both parties, offering insights into where the money went, including who benefited and what issues were prioritized. From there, it presents an exploration of the context and composition of campaign spending for each office, the roles and impact of allied spending, and the volume of independent expenditures in the ecosystem. To examine the reach of the party, this report evaluates comparative and competitive media spending, the mix of broadcast and digital investment, and the need for greater innovation and experimentation in sharing the Democratic story with more voters, and to greater effect and impact. Finally, this report assesses the state of data and technology, with recommendations to ensure the security and resiliency of our critical infrastructure, and opportunities to improve tools and tech to meet the needs of modern, vibrant campaigns. A relevant and modern party must imbue its operations with resilient and robust digital operations to effectively present a unifying declaration to voters. We, the people, is not a new idea, but an enduring philosophy, meant to include each generation and every available innovation in its design and operation. Now this is where we get to methodology, which very notably here has an important note from the DNC in red. The report analyzes a range of publicly and commercially available data, and the DNC responds to this by saying, no source material or data provided, unsourced claims cannot be independently verified. Meaning, nothing in this report is backed up by any kind of investigation or any kind of citation to credible sources. No part of this report has anything linking it to the real world.
Wow, this is worthless.
Stygian Skunk, yes. Yes, it is worthless, right? Because what data did they use to assemble any of their conclusions? We don't know! And I gotta be honest, it's here where I say, oh, this entire thing is AI generated. One guy wrote a 192-page report for the DNC for free. There are really only a couple ways you can explain that. One is that there's some other kind of compensation going on between the DNC and this Democratic strategist who wrote this. Or he just half-assed it with AI and thought it was good enough.
Think about the consultants. Why won't anyone think about the consultants?
Sake Tanuki, the poor beleaguered consultants of Washington. They need assistance. They need help. Will you remember me? I will remember you. Your donations today can mean the difference between a DNC consultant making $10 million a year like a peasant or $100 million a year like they deserve. Help a DNC consultant out today so that they don't have to live in a box that's a mere 15,000 square feet. I need to have like a sad song on my on my soundboard. Oh god. The only sad song I have is this one.
Live from the Polymarket studio in LA.
God. And then we get down to the executive summary, which is page 7, which this section was not provided by the author. So we just have multiple missing sections, and we're only 7 pages into this gigantic pile of shit. Yeah, this is so much worse than I thought too. Like, I thought this was political corruption, right? Like, I thought Ken Martin had given his buddy money to write this report, and then, like, the report just, like, was shit and not really useful, or was very clearly politically biased to the degree that, like, Ken Martin couldn't use it. I thought it was something like that. I did not have my money on it is just so dog shit incompetent that it's literally missing sections as if Ken Martin's dog ripped sections out of his homework. I think Ken Martin made an excellent choice in doing everything in his power not to release this. I mean, at this point, right? Like, if he had this report compiled and given to him by late last year, it doesn't even take, like, reading through this entire thing. If he had just read through the amount we've read through right now in real time, the very first thing, if I'm Ken Martin, the very first thing I do is call up people who actually do shit, like people who actually, like, make reports like this and investigate reports and, like, put out useful, actionable, like, results from that. I call up the best person in Washington to do that, and I say, hey, we will pay you a lot of money if you can get us this report in the next 5 months. And so instead of just saying, oh, well, we have the report, we're just not going to release it, tee-hee, for the last 6 months, instead, he can just say, we're working on additional fact-finding for the report, and we will release it when the final data comes in, right? You would pay to have this mistake fixed. And I don't really have any other, like, way of reading this on Ken Martin's part other than rank incompetence, not just from his buddy who did this for free, but also from Ken Martin for not immediately trying to rectify this situation and trying to hide it, thinking that it would just never come out. Yeah, he needs to resign. He needs to resign. This is so embarrassing. This isn't incompetence, it's malice. I mean, it is like a particularly malicious level of incompetence, for sure. Electoral landscape, 10 years for a stronger future. While combating an increasingly autocratic and authoritarian government lies at the forefront of the Democratic agenda, our Democratic Party must also develop a plan to carry itself and America beyond 2028. Now, this is an interesting component here to throw in, right? Because this section right here implies that the report has already talked about the DNC's plans to combat an increasingly autocratic and authoritarian government, right? Like, that implies that there was a previous section here talking about the DNC's game plan as it relates to, like, fighting back against the Trump administration. But that doesn't exist in this report. Which, if a human had actually constructed this, you would think, oh, it would flow from, like, one point to the next. This report is so badly written, it really does scream AI. Yeah, I'm not bullshitting you guys. I do think this is AI. And guys, you won't believe what the strategy is that this report comes up with. Our Democratic Party must also develop a plan to carry itself in America beyond 2028. It is essential that the Democratic Party develop, organize, and implement a 10-year strategic plan to align the infrastructure, partnerships, and people we need to win. The only way this can be done is if we build to win and build to last. Democrats need a new, forward-thinking electoral strategy focusing on more than who or what is on the ballot and addressing how Democrats can reconnect with Americans at every level across our country. We must organize everywhere to win anywhere. It's like, the best plan you've got for the current electoral landscape in this section is just do everything everywhere and win everywhere. That's not a plan. That's not a plan. Like, obviously, the Democrats should be organizing everywhere that they can, marshaling as much power everywhere that they can. But, like, the fact that this is being treated in this report as if it is some grand revelation, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see. Yeah, we are now 8 pages into this. All this report has offered us is empty slogans, right? It's platitudes. Winning anywhere, and, like, this is capitalized for some reason, means providing for a renewed focus on the voters of Middle America and the South, who've come to believe they are not included in the Democratic vision of a stronger and more dynamic America for everyone. Millions of Americans are suffering from poor access to healthcare, manufacturing, and job losses, and a failing infrastructure, yet continue to be persuaded to vote against their best interests because they do not see themselves reflected in the America of the Democratic Party. We can do this because we've done it before. In 1989, after losing 3 straight presidential campaigns, our party refocused the conversation around policy and purpose to reclaim the vital center of American discourse. Understanding the center is where most people live. Then DNC Chairman Ron Brown led Democrats out of the political wilderness.
Can we bend over and present wholehearted?
I mean, it's not an unfair question, right?
You have a God-shaped hole.
Like, we are 8 pages in, and it's like, what if we became more centrist? Sure, we're combating an increasingly autocratic and authoritarian government, but what if we became more centrist, though? What if we provided less value to the working folks in the South and the factory towns of the United States? This is so stupid. It was Ron Brown who understood every corner of America was hurting and proclaimed his tenure would be less about race and more about the races we win. God. Maybe he wrote this with grog, you know? Ron Brown also challenged the Democratic Party to think about being think and be different. He focused less on pie-in-the-sky narratives and asked the party to get real about the politics of success. Chairman Brown was relentless in his party building, and his optimism inspired others to unify and focus on the end goal, winning the White House again in the face of 3 consecutive defeats, leaving many Americans with a distaste for Democrats and politics in general. Brown was idealistic and practical, and he fought for his beliefs while challenging those who argued it could not be done. Like, I love that, like, this report is championing like a centrist who ushered in neoliberalism in the Democratic Party.
It boils my blood that these people come up with the same assigning plan no matter what happens, and now they don't even have the decency to pretend they have a sensible reason.
Right? Like, it's just, hey, ChatGPT, give me an argument for centrist Democratic stances and write it up as a 200-page report. Is literally like the prompt. I wonder if someone could genuinely use ChatGPT and generate this exact same report. I wonder, like, I do genuinely wonder if that is something that someone could do. Like, just reverse engineer whatever fucking prompt led to the creation of this. Like, I don't recommend any of you try to do that, but I'm also gonna say that there's a non-zero chance that that could happen here. I'm on it. I'll attempt tonight. God. Yeah. Under this future-focused directive, Democrats were able to win governor's races in Virginia, mayoral races in New York City, and elect Bill Clinton to the White House in 1992, turning the tide of defeat and ushering in a new era of political achievement at the expense of working people in America. Bill Clinton did not deliver for working-class Americans. Bill Clinton privatized more shit and just kicked the can down the road, and then left all of us to pick up the bill later on. And that resulted in the 2008 financial crash, and the dot-com bubble, and a lot of other problems. We stopped focusing on race and started focusing on the races, and it's just like, what? Yeah, but that's how you get Bill Clinton, like, passing bills about super predators. Like, it wasn't good. It wound up being very bad. Finding our way back to this level of success will not be easy, and it will not happen overnight. But the reason we will win is twofold. The first is that we do not plan to advance alone. Winning anywhere is the shared mission and purpose of the DNC and its partners. We will do the hard work to reassess our strategies, our messaging, and our targets, and challenge our partners, including labor and other progressive organizations, to hold us accountable as we move through the next 10 years and beyond. It's just like, I feel Winby!
This is so fucking egregious. They put out third-way shit like this while going on a crusade against Hassan and progressives.
Yep.
The DNC is a fucking joke.
Yep. Winby, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Very much appreciated. But it is a joke, right? Because also, there aren't good arguments in here, you know? The only thing is, okay, so what are you going to do? Well, with our Winning Anywhere initiative, we are going to work with partners. That's the core component of this entire paragraph.
Wait, did it say that in the 90s Dems won the NYC mayoral elections? I remember a distinct oilhead leaking Giuliani during that time.
Yeah, it's I forgot about Rudy Giuliani's head leaking. I forgot about that Four Seasons fiasco. God. Almost used a Steven Crowder soundbite there. But I restrained myself because it needs to remain special when I use it. Okay? Yeah, we're getting close to unlocking our clown chakras, chat, and that's never a good thing. That was a joke for you, brain rot viewers out there. All right. So, step 1, have friends. Step 2, Secondly, once we win, we will ensure our newly elected and re-elected officials move consistently and decisively to instill faith and confidence in the American voting public. The rage of the voters, stoked daily by information silos, talking heads, and even politicians, has contributed to most Americans having a lack of confidence in both parties. Democrats must accept it is more important than to deliver on what they promise, and then make sure our constituents are aware we are fighting for the things they care most about.
So all that we've been sending out the lessons was a bald-faced lie.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely was. Unless Ken Martin cribbed certain elements of this report and repurposed them to use as lessons. Petra Koroma, thank you very much for the 320 yen. Appreciate you. God, an anime sidekick gal, thank you for the $5 super chat. But I gotta be honest, you did not need 2 paragraphs to say our strategy to win is have allies and do things once we're elected. But also, just want to point out as well, Democrats must accept it is more important than to deliver. And then make sure, this isn't the sentence. It's not written correctly. I take it back. This wasn't written by AI. It was definitely written by a trust fund baby Harvard grad. Yeah, I went there. Well, here. Yeah, here we go. Just take a quick look. A lot has been said here about Paul Rivera, right? And Paul Rivera wrote this, but he wasn't paid. But he does work as an informal senior advisor at the DNC. But he wasn't paid for the autopsy, and he is apparently not on the DNC's payroll. So my question exactly is, why did Paul Rivera, if he used AI or not, why did he do this? Is it misplaced confidence in his ability to do this for free? Why is he consulting with the DNC for free? What is he seeking to get out of any of this? How does he benefit? It's genuinely baffling to me, and I would love more clear answers, but a lot of the reporting around him is either oh well, he didn't release any comments, he didn't say nothing, so I guess end of story. But it's kind of I want a reporter to go more in more depth about this relationship between Paul Rivera and the DNC, because this is egregiously terrible, and I want to know why. I want to know why it's this bad, how he got this relationship with the DNC, and what does he do, and how does he benefit from it? Because if he's working for the DNC but not getting paid, that's really weird. That's especially weird in the world of politics as it exists right now in Washington, D.C., because every consultant gets paid an exorbitant amount of money in politics. And I want to know why this guy seems to be not taking a dime from one of the biggest associations he is connected to. It's very weird. We have to meet this moment with creativity, purpose, and openness. We must align our values with our commitments, with our investments to maximize the impact of our year-round efforts. We must reform our party structure and practices as the means to rebuild and reposition our party to re-earn the trust and confidence of everyday Americans. Like, or this, right? Assessing the state of the party. There are always hot takes after an election, but hot takes will lead to mistakes. If we do not take the time to thoroughly explore what occurred, what worked well, and what should have been done better, we must be careful to draw the right lessons from this experience and not miss opportunities to identify and build upon some of the positives from the 2024 cycle. Yes, many are deeply angry with the outcome of the most recent national election. They feel cheated, abused, and taken advantage of by a broken system. At the same time, we must acknowledge how close the margins actually were. 7,309 votes across three districts decided control of the U.S. House of Representatives. 327,557 votes across 4 states decided the U.S. Senate. And 270,607 votes across 4 states decided the presidency. And the DNC points out here numbers appear inaccurate based on public data. Around 0.2% of all ballots cast for president. So, like, even the DNC is going through this being like, this. Wait a minute, these numbers are horseshit. Like, it's riddled. It is riddled with just fabrications and incorrect citations. But also, what another aspect that I find interesting, right? Like, in the kind of structure for typical essay or report writing, you'll usually have, a section that kind of establishes what the structure of the following bits are going to be, right? What is the proposed structure from this first paragraph, right? Hot takes will lead to mistakes if we do not take the time to thoroughly explore what occurred. So, find out what happened, what worked well, and what can be improved on, right? So those are 3 things. And you would expect that you would find those 3 things in the in the resulting and following sections, right? The paragraphs. And we don't really see that. What we see is, oh, well, people are really angry, and, it was pretty close in some places, teehee. The 2020 cycle was also very close, a narrow win for the presidency, a narrow Democratic majority in the House, and a tie in the Senate based on a runoff in Georgia. The 2016, this is weird. It's not following the structure it proposes in that opening part. And I propose that this is because it's written by AI, right? You also get some of those subtle, recurrent AI tells. For example, here, yes, many are deeply angry with the outcome of the most recent national election. They feel cheated, abused, and taken advantage of by a broken system. At the same time, pops up a lot if you look at AI-generated text. It pops up a lot. And I'm not saying that's a definitive tell, but also listing different things overly much can also be another tell. And so in this particular section, you have a number of different AI tells, and it is not fully comporting with the proposed structure you find in the section above. And that structure further slides the deeper you get into this. And so what I find myself doing when reading this is that I have an English degree. I have a degree in English literature. Like, there are missing words in here. There's grammar that doesn't make sense. There's punctuation that doesn't quite make sense. And a lot of how people frame and make text is into something that flows together. And obviously not everybody does this, but it seems to be a natural human predilection for, like, making things proceed in a relatively logical order. And that's just not happening here. Instead, there's like kind of thought associations, right? Like, for example, when it continues on here, instead of just talking about what happened in 2024, it then creates another, like, oh, this is what happened in 2020. This is what happened in 2026, or 2016, rather. And, actually, when you think about it, 2024 wasn't really different. Also, there's a period missing at the end of this sentence. Like, I don't really know how to make this clear to you guys, but if you are going through and editing your writing, most people would notice a like a small, short, single line multi-sentence construction here. And they would notice that it does not have a period. Most people who are compiling a report for one of the most powerful political bodies in the United States would probably go through and give it at least one editing pass, and that does not appear to have happened here. This is trust fund baby slap. I mean, if it is, I want to know why. Right? Also, 3 different parts with hyphens. Like, I'm not against the use of hyphens, but this is another AI tell, and it's all very close together. Oh, look, here's... How many hyphens are on this page? I'm sorry. I have now been distracted by this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have 8 hyphens in a very short amount of time. Like, are those hyphens M dash or N dash? Oh, that's a great question. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
Trust fund baby cabbage slop.
There are 291 dashes like that in the document. That's weird. That's weird. Also, wait a minute. Okay. Sorry, I must correct myself. Okay? These are not hyphens. That's incorrect. These are M dashes. Okay? These are M dashes. Hyphens are the regular dash. These are roughly the length of the letter M. You have a hyphen. That's the tiny one. An N dash is the width of a capitalized N, and an M dash is the length of a capitalized M. Right? That's how you can tell the difference. Let's see here. Oh, maybe it's an N dash? Okay. There's 4 M dashes. So maybe this is an N dash? Ah, there are 291 N dashes. Cool. Cool. Harold is correct. That is a lot of dashes, though. God damn. Jack, I really hope you see this at any point. But do we have any reactions from serious Democrats? Oh, we do. I have one actually right here from AOC.
Make any big statements. Have you seen Israel and Gaza aren't mentioned once in the report, the uncommitted movement? What do you make of that?
I think it's pretty unbelievable that that Gaza would not be mentioned once in the autopsy report. I think it was very clearly a major dynamic and a major thread that was happening in 2024. Regardless of how one feels about that issue, the fact that it's not even addressed, I think is a major oversight. And I think that for young people, it was a huge part of the environment. I can tell you for myself as a candidate during that cycle, there's no way that it was an ignorable issue or totally immaterial. So I think that it's a real disservice to not speak to that or include or assess that.
So what do you make of just
like people? I don't think we've really gotten to the point where we're going to see a whole lot of public takes yet. I suspect tomorrow a lot of folks are going to be becoming more and more vocal about their response to this report, but it's it's pretty bad. Like basically anyone who is considering running for president in 2028 is ripping it apart. Rahm Emanuel even put out a statement saying it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. I don't know. It's pretty bad. But there haven't been a ton of forward-facing responses. Of course, David Hogg also called on Ken Martin to resign. There was a Politico piece about it, though. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, just a couple of takes from Politico. Everyone is baffled by the exclusion of Gaza in DNC autopsy. It's bad when even centrists are like, whoa, Gaza wasn't mentioned one time. And this is made especially weird, by the way, because Paul Rivera, in comments to people prior to the release of this, talked about how the issue of Gaza was a pivotal one in the 2024 race. And I mean, anyone with eyes could have told you that, but that he had data indicating the effect of, the genocide in Gaza on the electorate, right? And in 2024. And so the fact that the guy who allegedly compiled the report and said that there was stuff about Gaza in it, the fact that there's nothing about Gaza in it is very, very weird. It's very strange. But also, a lot of people are really upset about this. The report is so stupid. Let's see, do we have any major movers and shakers in Democratic Party talking about this? We should take this autopsy with a massive grain of salt. Clearly, the people who put it together ran a highly ineffective, ill-researched process. Therefore, it's difficult to draw constructive conclusions, said Adrian Elrod, a senior advisor on the Biden and then Harris campaigns. What's important is what's missing, what they're not releasing, said Ashley Etienne, former communications director of Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's see. David Hogg called for Martin's resignation when asked in an interview with Politico Thursday, why? Hogg responded, I mean, have you read the report? God, it's devastating. One Democratic operative who worked for the DNC in the Harris campaign called the autopsy a self-inflicted wound and unfortunate given victories in New Jersey and Virginia. Another senior Democratic operative close to the process who was granted anonymity to speak candidly said simply, the report's so stupid, it's hard to make sense why something's in there and why it's not. I'm getting calls from people saying, do I think he should step down? And the answer is no, not at all. The people who are making the biggest fuss are the people who didn't want him in the first place. I'm sorry, but this was literally the most important document to guide Democrats through the 2026 midterms and to shape 2028 presidential runs. Who said that? That was James Zogby, who's a major mover and shaker in the DNC. Like the entire purpose of this was to shape the future of the Democratic Party over the next several years as we fight through MAGA fascism. And the fact that like people are just like, no, it's okay that he fucked up on the biggest job he had to do is really, really wild to me. It is infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. Can't believe it. Not every Democrat was upset by the release Thursday. Prominent centrist groups that argue the party has drifted too far to the left found validation in the report. Geez. The people who agree with the idea that Democrats should become more like Republicans, they love this report that says Democrats should become more like Republicans, even though it's written so poorly that that whoever wrote it should never be associated with the DNC or Democrats ever again. That's crazy. Validation and slop, right? Walking on broken glass. God. Yeah, Third Way is really giddy about this this report, obviously. Let's take a look here. Because you know how we were talking about, hey, it's weird that they're going back to like 2016 and 2020 instead of talking about 2024. You know, we talked about how that was weird. Let's just go a little bit further into this report. Oh, we're rehashing 2008 and Obama for some reason. This is not helpful when performing an autopsy about what happened in 2024. Oh, here's rehashing 2010. Also, what's crazy is Ken Martin released this annotated version of this, right? Which just has no evidence provided for this claim. And the claim is there was approximately $500 million in outside spending, with Super PAC spending $62.6 million. Why are there no citations for these claims? Right? This is a report. This is meant to help people understand. It should be sourced. it should have links to facts, evidence, etc. And you'll notice that even in the sections that Ken Martin doesn't highlight, we have a lot of other claims that are just not being tested for their veracity. Is there a bibliography? Well, none of this is linked to. There aren't, annotations, there aren't citations. You could say that there are supposed to be at the end, and again, look, we're now going on to page 17, and we are only now hitting what happened in 2024. Also, even simple things. Democrats netted 2 seats in the House, flipping 10 seats from the Republicans while losing 8. Data appears to be inaccurate and contradicts public reporting. We're getting this is basic shit that is being absolutely mangled. Recap. Every election cycle since 2008 has reflected an increasing polarization in our national politics, with narrowing margins determining control in each successive cycle. Analysis not supported by publicly available data. And it's not then cited later in non-publicly available data. It's the future, stupid. No sourcing provided for several claims in this section. This appears to conflate family and sick leave. This was a blatant attempt by the Republican power base to take advantage of name recognition and tough economic conditions to push through an unqualified candidate whose job would have been a little more than rubber stamping the president's agenda. And the fact that in an autopsy report of the 2024 election, the DNC has to step in and point out what years Biden was president. This is AI slop. This is AI garbage. This is not whose annotations, Ken Martin and the DNC. To Ken Martin's credit, I suppose, he did have someone go through this and point out where the fabulations were, a report should have data. A report should have citations. A report should be it should be more coherent than this. A report of this level of importance should not be flubbing who was president in 2022, especially when it's made for the DNC. And I wanted to really just hammer this home to you. I know that I've probably established this 20 minutes ago, that this was made with AI, that this is all dog shit. But really needed to hammer home, we got nothing. Now, I do want to point out, okay, that on page 19, despite the fact that we have had many, many, many claims of data presented so far, on page 19, we see our first citation. Okay? It's right here. As the Brennan Center has reported, and as seen in the figure below, it is possible for up to 12 congressional seats and electoral votes to shift from states like California, New York, and Illinois to Texas, Florida, Utah, and Idaho in the next reapportionment after the 2030 census. 1, right? So we go down to the bottom. Here we are. And there's also a second citation. Both citations are for the same thing. These are the first citations in this entire entire thing. And then we get another section here where we have additional citations for also both the same, right? They both link to this article that is 15 years old. And when we go through and look at, hey, how is it cited on this page versus how it was cited on this page, it's very different. Because AI clearly made this. We gonna look at the sources section? Yeah. All right. What happened? Electoral review. Pending. Entire sections just missing. I am baffled by this. Appears to me missing Delaware is an actual note from the DNC. Someone's telling me to go look at page 75. But, like, the citations keep coming thicker and thicker as the claims begin to mount throughout this, right? And, of course, there are continuing to be missing sections. And, let's go to page 75. Oh! The conclusion of the entire autopsy report wasn't included. They never got the conclusion of the autopsy. There's no conclusion, guys. Imagine if this was like an actual autopsy, right? Imagine if this was the actual autopsy. We cut him open, boys, and we don't know what the hell's going on in there. I'm not even a trained medical doctor. Anyway, thanks for letting me see inside the dead of the body of a now dead guy. Hey. So many claims. No source material or data provided. No sourcing provided for this claim. No evidence provided. Contradicts publicly reported data. No evidence. No sourcing. No evidence. You know what? In fact, let's see. No evidence. No evidence is cited 47 times throughout this. There are 47 claims made throughout this that just aren't true. No sourcing. Yeah, no source material or data provided. 67 on no sourcing, no source. Like we're talking hundreds and hundreds of like just missing citations or erroneous claims. That's almost one per page. Yeah, it's genuinely terrible. And it's actually worse than that because many of these pages are being left blank with just nothing provided. Wow. Incredible. It's truly breathtaking. No, the data showed no evidence provided for this claim. I can't, man. Heads need to roll for this. People need to lose their jobs. Honestly, people need to lose their jobs and like lawsuits need to be launched against like this rank level of incompetence. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Table of contents. Appendices? Oh, wait. Actually. Sources. Oh! The final page of this document is the source page. Empirical claims in the DNC After Action report are based on publicly available evidence and are accompanied by a hyperlink to evidence supporting the claim. They are absolutely not. In addition, a traditional bibliography can be found here. No, it can't. And more data is provided in the appendix below. There isn't an appendix below. We supplemented the publicly available data by interviewing more than 12,000 Democrats across all 57 state parties and territories. Where the fuck is that data? Where are those 12,000 interviews? Yeah, but my point is, the appendix is, and the appendices are not below the very last section. And I guess my point is that when we're talking about, this is the last thing that you put in here. And it's saying you're going to find more shit below it. It's the last thing. Where are the surveys with 5,000 DNC members? Literally none of this was provided along with this report. Yeah, and the appendices are not provided by the author. So, and conclusion, also not provided by the author. Ah, fuck. Everyone in charge of the DNC should resign. Everyone involved in this should lose their jobs. Like, honestly, mind blown. The fact that there are even some people who are like, it's not too bad. Let Ken Martin have his job. He's just a little guy. We need better than just a little guy. We need better than just a little birthday boy. We need someone who can actually do this fucking job. This is a failing paper at any university. I'll go a step further. This is beyond just a failing paper at any university. This would be maybe grounds for expulsion at any reputable university. Like, this is a level of incompetent AI slop that could genuinely, like, get you kicked out. This is a failing essay in middle school. Well, that's why the entire name of this stream is A Dog Ate the Democrats' Homework. Because that's exactly what this is. Like, every person in a position of leadership at the DNC needs to lose their fucking job. You know, like, every Democrat in a position of leadership in the DNC needs to lose their job. And you know what? Like, fucking Cincinnatus, like, whoever's left at the DNC as interim chair needs to call up Ben Wickler. Okay, whatever he's doing in Wisconsin, maybe he has a beet farm or something. I don't know what he's up to these days. Call up Ben Wickler and say, it's time, brother. We need you. We need you to marshal your troops and march to Washington. All right? Like, that is what's necessary at this time. We could have had a better future where the DNC actually mobilized for, like, open political warfare with Republicans under Ben Wickler. And instead we got Ken Martin, and Ken Martin has just been a soggy sack of dog shit the entire time.
GOP. Dems are a competent sociopathic party that is actually bringing socialism to this country. Dems.
Yeah, like, man, I fucking wish Democrats had the level of competence attributed to them by Republicans. No one wants soggy bagels in the morning. True. True. Anyway, I'm blindingly enraged by this. And if you are too, get involved in your local Democratic Party so we can kick these fuckers out. Get involved in your local Democratic Party. Start being a mover and shaker there, and like cut off the political career for any of these incompetent fuckwads to be ever able to climb the ladder to power ever again. Join your DSA, mobilize labor in your area, because god damn it, do we need more people organized? Because like this is a level of incompetence that is unforgivable. This is a level of incompetence that, like, if we lived in different times, Ken Martin would, as a point of honor, go out in front of the nation and commit seppuku. Like, that's the level of scandal here. And there is no actionable information in here. When we talk about, like, oh, Gaza isn't even mentioned in here, it's because there's no accurate, actionable information. It has wasted everybody's time. And the DNC has wasted everybody's time. And it has, in particular, wasted the time of people who put blood, sweat, and tears into trying to make the Democratic Party function as a vehicle to fight the Republican fascist moment. And I'm so angry about this, guys. It is one of those moments where, like, we need to get these people out of power. We need to get them out. We need to ensure that there is accountability for whatever the fuck happened here. And we need, like, I'm very curious over the next several days, how are people going to respond to this? How are Democrats going to respond to this? Because right now, I think there is a period of confusion today in the initial release of this. I think that confusion is quickly going to turn to white-hot rage. There is no way that I see this scandal becoming a non-issue in the Democratic Party. Eight years of work, and this guy has the gall to release this. Right, Dragonfly? God. If you guys need help joining your local Dems and some advice on how to effectively combat the Ken Martins that may exist in your local Democratic groups, join our Discord, reach out to Gamergy for help with your local DSA, and reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. We need to take the fight not just from outside looking in to the DNC, we need to take the fight into the DNC. You know, part of the problem with the Ben Wickler attempt to become, like, chair of the DNC was that Ben Wickler didn't have enough progressive fighter support for him within the DNC. We need to change that terrain as quickly as fucking possible. And the way to do that is to get involved with your local Democratic group. All right? Because they sure as shit, people like Ken Martin aren't going to listen to people outside of the party. They're not going to listen to people outside of the power structure. We need to break into that power structure and force them to listen. And if necessary, shout them down with our political might. So join your local Dems, join your local DSA. We'll help you, okay? Reach out. We'll help you. And folks, got anything out of this? Hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment letting us know exactly how you feel about Ken Martin and this egregiously incompetent autopsy report. And last but not least, folks, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. And I will say, one of the few positive points in anything I talked about in this particular section. So, you know, everything might suck right now, but Imogene Olivia underwear doesn't. I'm wearing it right now. It's super comfortable. So, you know, check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the doobly-doo. And let's keep on going. We did it. God. Folks, we have now been going for over 3 hours. Encourage you, please. Aw, thank you.
Every Ken Martin segment needs to end with this.
It's true.
And I'll say, look, it has plenty of warts, and we're all trying to change those for sure. But the longer we continue this fight, the harder it is for us to actually do what we all want to do, which is make a difference in this country again. So I deeply respect you, David. I too was looking forward to working with you, but this has created a situation, and I'll be very honest with you, for the first time in my 100 days on this job, and Jessica knows this, the other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And partly not because of the stress and all the naysayers, right? I'm used to that. I've spent 14 years as a chair. I'm used to getting beat up on. But, you know, this is really everything, you know, from this election, this credentials report, and how Malcolm's been treated in this, to, you know, the fact the election itself, how Shasti and Gina were treated in this. I'm just quite frustrated to be in this position, because what you've done, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, David, is no one knows who the hell I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win. And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating.
You destroyed any chance I had of showing people what I could do. Fast forward, you know, a year. And, I guess he's shown us what he can do, and what he can do is fuck all of us over. What did David Hogg say about this report today? That Ken Martin needs to resign. It's even more pathetic than I remembered. It really is. It really, really is. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. Folks, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the follow button. And also consider supporting the show, because you guys make this show possible. I could not do this without you fine folks supporting me, because this show is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Consider dropping those subs and donos, folks. Click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button. Oh, God. Max Danger! Thank you very much for the gifted membership. I appreciate it. I want to donate, but my mom died last year and I lost my mind and didn't get a job, and now I'm unemployed and soon to be deported. If I survive and recover, I'll pay you. Well, first of all, that all sounds awful. I'm really sorry on every single account there. Let us know if there's anything we as a community can do to help you out. Damn. And, you know, obviously condolences. Let's see. I had a point I was gonna say, and then I lost my train of thought. It was about the DNC. What was it? I completely forgot. I gotta be honest, chat, doing 2 streams in a day is draining as fuck. If you guys missed it, I was on the Transatlantic Call-In show earlier today. I debated Satan and won. And also, so go check that out. It's over on the line if you want to watch the VOD. Otherwise, there will be clips that get uploaded later on. It might take like a week or two. Later on over on this YouTube channel. And also, do consider supporting the show. I'm going to say something along those lines. What was it? Got people who I usually clash with in the local party saying the whole DNC leadership should resign. Ah! That's what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me, Dragonfly. I will say that an upshot to this absolutely dogshit report could be the further radicalization of otherwise mainstream liberals towards more progressive policies and figures, right? Like, I do think that there is a possibility here that, like, when you're at the point where even the Pod Save America guys, some of the most milquetoast liberals out there in, like, the content creation space, are going out there and being like, this is terrible. What happened? How can we have faith in the Democratic Party when they're fielding shit like this? That's telling. Like, that is actual movement from a pretty sizable amount of the base when you see pod save shifting, right? And when you start seeing like DNC, like folks within like the Democratic Party who go to the meetings, who are otherwise normie libs, calling for the entirety of DNC leadership to resign, you know, I think that there is a certain radicalizing effect of this level of incompetence. So I guess if I had to find a silver lining here, it's that, like, this is more fuel on the Evelyn normie libification of the, Democratic Party, effectively. Like, you know, all those nice old ladies who like to show up and like knit sweaters on cars and stuff as acts of political protest. They're getting radicalized at their local Democratic meetings because they're paying attention to all this shit, and they're deeply disappointed that no one is righting the ship. Because third way, like, the Republicanization of Democrats is not a strategy that resonates with them. You know, they're out here being like whispering to themselves or screaming in the streets, you know, the blood of tyrants must water the tree of liberty. And like they're just like going out there doing their own thing, getting louder and louder and louder and angrier and angrier and angrier. Pretty soon they're going to wind up shifting so far left that they agree with people like me, and I'm an out and out socialist. So I guess that's the silver lining here. One of my clients called Schumer a little bitch. She's 78.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time. That's great. That's great. I feel like that's evidence. That's definitive evidence that the Baileys are turning on Chuck Schumer. I guess I'm fortunate enough to not know who Pod Save. Pod Save America is a very mainstream, very like centrist liberal like political podcast. And it's huge. Like it's listened to and watched by millions of people. I will typically turn to Pod Save America, for example, when I want to know like what like normie libs are talking about these days, what they care about. Like if I need more background for a story, I'm gonna like go and see what Pod Save is talking about to like kind of gauge which way the wind is blowing for that particular demographic, you know? Mainstream centrist. Yeah, they're like I wouldn't go to them for my political you know, information, but like it's informative to know where that particular group is, especially when fascism is encroaching on us, you know? Can't stand Pod Save. I can't either, which is why I limit my exposure to it unless absolutely necessary for, you know, gauging where the reaction to things like No Kings is at amongst normie libs. Let's see. Yeah, the Obama's Speechwriters podcast. You indeed. All right. I don't think I have the energy to cover more tonight. Usually I would like to go for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, but tonight I think 3.5 is about as much as I got in me. So if you've enjoyed the show, folks, hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Do consider supporting the show if you've gotten anything valuable out of it today. Share the stream around if you feel so inclined. Share the VODs around. Leave comments on the videos. Do the things that help the channel grow, because especially going into like a midterm or a general, and I feel like this particular midterm is basically the start of the sprint through the general election. We want to be doing as much as we possibly can, and the more I can dedicate to making this show better, the more I can do.
If you ever want a sobering watch, the Cal Penn interview with Hassan Minhaj is massive over the disappointment within the Obama admin.
Interesting. I'll take a look at that on my off time. When when I finally get my elliptical fixed, because it is not functional at the moment, I will add that to my watch rotation. I need more good like news and politics stuff to keep myself informed and on the ball, as it were. And I do a lot of that while I work out.
I've been doing pretty good too. Been reaching new fitness goals, even with the elliptical broken. Nocturnal 8999, thank you for the gifted membership, and Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs tomorrow. Jack, can we watch Majority Report tomorrow? Are you referring to something specific? I mean, I love me some Majority Report, but typically I try and cover like my own, like my own shit.
Of course, by a
Hell yeah. I will take a look at that. Cool. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Oh shit, Jillian Michaels had Sam on the show today for a debate? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh no, Sam Cedar. Wow, what a fucking nightmare.
Wait, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry, I accidentally Googled Sam Cedar and it took me to a TV series he did apparently in 2004. A television miniseries written by Charles Fisher and Sam Cedar, directed by Cedar and starring Sarah Silverman. The TV show followed on from the 1997 film Who's the Caboose? Oh, wow. That is a deep cut. Okay. There we go.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
Come on, Jillian. We're the goods. Where can I find it? Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Can we just take a quick look here? So, the ultimate clash, Jillian Michaels versus Sam Cedar, no holds barred. Is Sam is Jillian gonna try and kill Sam? Like the fucking thumbnail. Is the thumbnail like, it's clearly the American flag behind her. Is that like the communist flag crashing into the American flag? Is that what's happening? Come on, let's watch a few minutes. Oh, God. Do we do it? Do I have the stamina? I know I don't have, because this is almost 2 hours long. I know I don't have 4 hours of this in me, but I'm gonna be weak. I'm gonna cave. I'm gonna preview some of this.
You want a more balanced perspective? I want to give you a more balanced perspective. They don't show up. They don't show up. So for the love of God, anybody who is brave enough, throw your hat in the ring.
That woman from The Biggest Loser, go F yourself. Go take your maha and shove it up your ass.
There are so many differences that it's staggering. We had boots on the ground in Iraq, and there were no weapons of mass destruction.
I was critical
Here,
of Biden.
we don't have boots on the ground.
I don't like that she's mixing herself to be louder than Sam.
And there's 60% enriched uranium in their funding terror proxies. Night meet day. All right, guys, you've been asking me to provide more diverse perspectives on the show, and I've also wanted to provide you with that. So I put out a public call for guests with different viewpoints. Well, the guy who answered that call is Sam Cedar, host of the Majority.
Why would you use a picture of him from like 15 years ago? Why would you do that? He looks like such a little guy. He's like just a little nerd guy. It's incredible.
Report. Now, I can't exactly say that we found a ton of common ground in this conversation, but we definitely brought the heat. Get ready because there are a ton of fireworks in this one. Here we go.
Keeping it real with Jillian.
Keeping it real with Jillian Michaels. Sam Cedar, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to give it 10 minutes. And keep in mind, we will be rewatching all of this on a new day.
Yeah, so this all came about because I asked for people with oppositional views or opposing views to come on and talk with me and talk with the audience. My audience actually has requested consistently to get a more diverse perspective. And
I do want to say, can someone get Sam a better camera? You know, like just slightly better resolution camera. Cause like, I know he likes to make do with what he has, but also he's been looking a little bit more 720p lately. You know, like let's get him a better resolution camera to film with.
I've said that it's not so easy because not a lot of people will show up for it, even when I'm totally neutral on the position. So in the video I talked about wanting somebody to come on from pro-life, pro-choice. I see both sides of it, wanting a doctor who's anti-vax and pro-vax. A host of different individuals, I've asked them to come on and been unsuccessful largely.
I really hate that I like Jillian Michaels' hair. Is that okay for me to say? I think it's okay for me to say.
Also did ask for when people...
Oh yeah, Jillian Michaels absolutely considers herself a normal gay. Absolutely.
When they sling pejoratives and ad hominem attacks to say it to my face, and you were kind enough to step up for that, you are the first. So, SOT number 3, guys. I wanted to litigate some of this stuff first.
Oh, well, I should just say that was not what I was responding to was your
Wait, Jillian Michaels is gay? Yeah, she's gay. She's like Dave Rubin, you know? She's doing the Dave Rubin shit.
Video where you said that nobody would show up. I was actually interested in revisiting our exchange on Piers Morgan from a year ago.
Promise you we will. That's why I'd like some of your time. Okay, SOT 3.
To that woman from The Biggest Loser, go F yourself. Go take your maha and shove it up your ass. Go F yourself. She now has a YouTube influencer channel.
Even bigger loser.
Everybody knows I like to keep it real. That's a perfect show for me to go on.
Is this a meeting of the Gay Straight Alliance? Just kidding.
What's the
They're both gay. They're both gay.
Snake oil. The snake oil salesman talking about politics.
Totally.
I'm sure she read that book
2 weeks ago.
Do you have pictures?
Here's someone who quit her show because of criticism of Israel was happening.
Talk to me about Islam. Tell me where we're getting it wrong.
Please come on my show and justify why Muslims aren't bad.
I wrote it 3 hours ago.
Nothing. Have we heard back anything?
Nothing yet.
Oh my God.
She's a fool.
Her role in media is to defend Israel. I think she's a TERF, right? So she doesn't like trans people and thinks it takes away from feminism, and then is also a Maha person.
They want to get rid of free lunches in schools.
Both here and in Africa, which I know I care about both. She cares about neither, but is pretending to care about the kids in America.
Okay. Well, so first let me address the fact that I'm sorry I did not get back to you within 3 hours.
You got great producers.
Well, you gave us a lot to work with, Sam. Having said that, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you within 3 hours. A man of your stature, I apologize. But your followers spammed the email I put out. Sot number 2.
Not sure how to reach you, but if you're so inclined, have someone from your office email our podcast line, and then she puts her email there. If you guys, want to send her an email, now you know what her address is. So go wild with that shit.
And they did. Graphic number 1.
I love that in this context, the Vanguard boys are, Silly and Billy are the ones. They're just Sam Cedar fans. They're not their own thing. They're just Sam Cedar's boys. The Cedar children.
Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
Those guys are on a completely different podcast.
I totally get it, but it seems like they're your followers, though. They like you quite a bit, along with, I didn't even know Hassan Piker calls you Uncle Sam.
They do a show.
Does Hassan really call him Uncle Sam? Because that's genuinely adorable. That's genuinely an adorable thing to call him.
Oh, about beefs, but I
guess so. Yeah. So then we get so graphic number 1. So we did in fact get those emails, and it made it very difficult to find yours. LOLOLO.
Man, Sam can't be expected to respond for the fact that Silly and Billy flooded her email box. Also, maybe don't publicly post the email. Just respond to the DMs he's already put out. Look, I know because I've reached out and done some preliminary organizing stuff with the Majority Report before. They have business emails. They're not you can just reach out. You don't have to tweet out your email address to the general public.
L. I think they left off the last O. You're such a fake dipshit excuse of a human being. I hope Cedar guts your duck ass. And how are you too poor to host this email address on your own website when you've been nothing but a grifter your entire professional career? I'll listen off air. Thanks. I don't really know what that part means.
Was that my dad?
It's one of your fans. Then there's, I heard the progressive host of the Majority Report, Sam Cedar. Sam, keeping it...
Was that my dad? Sam, your dad has a filthy mouth.
Sam, can you account for the fact that Crackhead Barbie exists?
Real Cedar would be happy to debunk all of your nonsense. Die slow, bitch. So it does seem that the apple does not fall from the trees.
The apple doesn't fall from the tree? Sam literally had nothing to do with this. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm not sure I've... Oh,
I'm just saying...
You're joking. That's
Thank you for being here. I think I would honestly say to you, off the top, given all of that...
Are you gay?
Well, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about it? I've watched you make fun of gay people now, including...
I don't know. I've heard you say some things about that Dave Rubin that might be maligning him for being gay.
I don't understand. You're black.
Benny Johnson and Steven Crowder, which is weird because
Benny Johnson is not gay.
Benny Johnson was slamming trans people.
Oh,
is he not gay?
He's not gay.
He's not.
He's not. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's a little confusing.
You've.
The gotcha clips. They're so funny. Oh. for background, the reason someone like Sam might think Benny Johnson's gay is because people at BuzzFeed talked about him being gay. Specifically, it was kind of like an open secret at BuzzFeed that he was hitting on other dudes and trying to make out with them. And that then got like reported more widely because Benny Johnson then got fired for plagiarism and then turned into a conservative grifter. And the people who were gay that he was flirting with didn't take too kindly to that and like aired his dirty laundry. And like, that's not a judgment on Benny Johnson. Like, there is no judgment on whether or not he's gay. But it is funny that just Sam, like a clip of Sam not knowing whether or not a guy is gay is the proof of like him being homophobic.
Assaulted him utilizing that context, which is so weird. Like, why
What do you mean?
Okay.
Oh, you mean like I say he's closeted?
You're like, oh, he's gay. But like
I don't think I have
you did.
ever
I'll
said
clip
that
it.
he's
You
gay.
did. You
since,
did.
Like,
You did. I'll
like,
clip it, and you did it to Crowder as well. But that's
I do think. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty well documented that Benny Johnson is. I mean, certainly not. I'm not the only person to bring that up at all. A lot of right wingers have been more explicit about it than I have. Crowder, yes, I do think that Crowder is suppressing some things, and his ex-wife sort of like.
Hey, you know what? You know when it's really fun to be railed animalistically by a man who loves you.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay to like to feel being used on a carnal level. You want to feel like that man can't control himself because of this carnal, just unbridled attraction to you that he can't keep his hands off of you. You're gonna look like a podling who's been fully drained.
Yeah, I don't know where Sam is getting this idea that Steven Crowder might be gay. I don't no idea at all.
I'm just asking because somebody wrote that to you in the thing, and I wasn't aware that you were gay. If you are,
I am. You are gay. You talked about it in the thing. You've talked about it numerous times, actually.
That you're gay.
You've talked about it numerous times on your show, Sam.
I mean,
Sam does not remember what he talked about. Sam barely remembers what he's like ate for lunch yesterday.
I mean, there are many things that you get wrong.
I was surprised there was that many clips that we talked about you over the past year. But I think, let me just say the first one, where I was telling you to F off.
We're going to get there.
Was a response. Well, I mean, you've done the montage.
I promise you, we are going to get there.
I should just say, within some proximity of that video, that specifically was when the first report of the tens of thousands, now hundreds of thousands of children, but also adults who have died as a result of the cuts of USAID.
You want to talk about that study? We can start there. You're wrong.
Oh, I'm happy to start there.
All right.
So we should play the clip of when you were on Piers
I
Morgan.
promise you we are going to. I promise
well, let's
you.
do that.
I want to litigate some of the other stuff you said first, though, if it's okay.
Is this really going to be just about like your feelings are hurt?
No, it's proving a pattern that you either don't fact check your information, you mischaracterize things, you lie by omission, and I can give you so many different examples. It's staggering. Satna.
I wonder if ChatGPT just she was like, give me dirt on Sam Cedar, ChatGPT. This is what came up.
Fine, everybody.
You've seen Iranian people in the streets here telling everybody, listen to what we are saying to you. Mamdani sounds like the Ayatollah.
Wait a second. There are Iranian people in the U.S. in the streets of the U.S. saying that Mamdani sounds like the Ayatollah?
I'm assuming in 1979, like they're saying, like leading up to the revolution?
I guess.
What? No. The Ayatollah was in exile in Paris, I believe, when the revolution hit.
I mean, the people that have a lot of credibility right now is the conservative Iranian diaspora. Yeah, let's see what they have to say.
And I would like for some specifics about what Mamdani has said that makes him sound like the Ayatollah.
A lot of people picked their Mamdani 47 years ago in Iran, which was Khomeini at that time. If you watch if you just listen to what Mamdani said in New York, it's verbatim.
What is this? Global Catalytic Ministries? Like what is that? Wait, I'm sorry. Global Catalytic Ministries scandal? It's apparently anonymously run. Okay. Anonymously run. Don't know who their donors are. Okay. But like what? Iran. Protest? They get into it? Okay.
What Khomeini said 47 years ago in the Islamist lefty committee at that time. And people got fooled because it was at the end of 70s and they just wanted to be hippies and free. And that's how it looked like at that time for Iran. So they picked their Khomeini that was supposed to just come and help people have free everything and give the oil money.
How could you say no to free everything?
Free and all of that. And you watch what he says. You listen to Mamdani.
Find Iranian people on social media telling us over and over and over again that the way Mamdani speaks in New York City is exactly the way the Ayatollah was speaking in Iran, word for word, verbatim.
So this is the promises Khomeini made back in 1979, pre-1979. Look at this. He has promised free water, free electricity, and free buses. Now, does that sound familiar?
That's why you...
Whoa. Dastardly. And those were the only policies he had, I'm sure.
You see the Persians, especially the Persian Jews, being so loud in America right now because we lived this. It wasn't necessarily our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents with the Holocaust. This was us. Like, I lived that. My parents lived that. We escaped that.
So what is the red? Who's red and who's green?
So basically it's the Islamists joining hands with the communists.
There are numerous clips like this, Sam, and it's okay if you don't agree. It's okay if you want to
What was the name of that first woman on the street?
I don't know. An Iranian
Right.
protester in the street. One of many. I can give you many different sites if you like.
Just a random woman, you know, just a ordinary men. We're just ordinary men.
I can pull up different posts that have
So
names on
what
it.
is the argument that
Here's
that
the argument.
in offering free buses that
That's not the
Mamdani
argument.
is like the Ayatollah?
You're more than welcome, by the way, to have that argument with me. But the fact is,
let's not talk about let's have that argument.
Well,
explain to me.
Here's their
what
argument.
What communist things that Mamdani has what
graphic number
communist
3,
policies?
guys. These are the parallels.
No, wait. It's just
you. But you're
explain
asking the
to me.
parallels.
Let
I'm
me
telling
finish.
you what they're citing.
What communist policies?
I love how ill prepared she is. Like, she doesn't know how to answer his question. So she's just like, read this multi-paragraph statement. Because I can't make the arguments myself.
Has Mamdani proposed?
This is
And
what they are
Islamist
citing, Sam.
In
What they are saying is
Islamist?
that the parallels
What Islamist policies? Answer.
Tim, he's a Muslim, correct? Is he a Muslim? He is a Muslim, correct? And this is you're saying I'd like to know what they're comparing. I'm telling you, guys.
No, I'm asking you right now. What communists? Let's argue the validity of these points.
I'm
Those
fine
people
having you come on to talk about that, but what's not okay is you calling me an idiot saying it didn't happen.
No, I do.
It did happen.
I think
and all you have to do is
the
Google
judgment
it.
is still reserved. Yes, you can find a random person on the street.
Sam, I showed you numerous clips. Guys, graphic 2, graphic 4, graphic 3. Give me anyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look at this. It's solid, rock solid evidence here. Look at my evidence is some guy on the internet put together a meme. She's playing them like cards. She's fucking playing Yu-Gi-Oh over here. She's doing Magic the Gathering, but with fucking conservative slot memes. Guys, I'm gonna really enjoy covering this tomorrow. Thank you for letting me know this finally happened. This gives me so much joy. I'll be streaming this during the daytime tomorrow. I gotta do stuff out in the world. But when I finish that, probably in the early afternoon, I'll hop on and we'll have a good time with this specifically together. This is an incredible gift. I appreciate it. It will be a whiskey stream. It can't be a whiskey stream, sadly. Well, let me think. Let me calculate. You know what? I can front load the whiskey and it can be a whiskey stream. Yeah, we can do a little day drinking as a treat. This is really fucking funny, and I am so tempted to let this continue, but I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to have to retread too much ground tomorrow, but this was really fucking fun. You have to calculate day drinking? Yeah, because I have to, like, be able to pick up my partner from work in the evening, you know? Like, round about, like, you know, like 8:30-ish. So, I'm just saying, like, if I have a couple shots at, like, 2 o'clock, I should be good by the time 8:30 rolls around, you know? Just gotta make sure I'm doing it safely. You sure you want to drink? I'm not gonna be drunk from 2 shots at 2 o'clock if I'm driving at 8 p.m. Day drinking. I'm just not gonna, like, go overboard. I'm not gonna be heavy on it. Let's see. I mean, I'm probably going to be a little drunk for, like, a few hours, but if I'm not driving for 6 hours, a few hours is fine. Responsible day drinking. Because I'm an adult and it will hurt me if I don't. A shot is an ounce and you digest an ounce an hour, if I recall correctly. You are correct. And I'm going to leave myself some wiggle room. Yeah, I'll be slightly tipsy, which will be great. Let's see. I will have to do a little bit of work, but I'd expect to start maybe around, like, 2 p.m. tomorrow. So, and by 2 p.m. tomorrow, I mean 2 p.m. today. So do keep an eye out for that, folks. And I will, go get some sleep and stuff, and we can do this tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me, and join me tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time. We'll do some we'll do some Jillian Michaels, Sam Cedar commentary. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Why live on short mode? Because some people like to watch on the vertical rather than on the horizontal. So I do both. All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.